was actually antiquing, right?
Okay.
That's because she got deals up there.
Got it.
But she was big into spiritualism, and I remember she had, Fate magazine. Remember Fate magazine? It was a little kind of paranormal booklet type of magazine.
Mhm.
I
Um,
don't remember that. That
oh, it's
shows
so
how
cool.
old you are.
And you can find them. You can find the Fate on eBay if you guys are. It's just a cool little mag. So I'd read those.
Yeah.
My dad would play stupid jokes on me, and her house was supposed to be haunted. I don't know. I never experienced anything there. But in '05, my daughter was born. My dad was sick towards the end of his life, and is it Greg? Oh, I got to find
Wow.
out. He was sick towards the end of his life, and I ended up getting married. Um, my kid was
Feet magazine.
that's
That's another
mag.
show.
That's a different show. But my dad was sick, so I was buying my first house because we were having the baby, and my dad was like, what room, what floor is my room on? And I'm like, right. He was a good guy. We never had the greatest relationship. Lo and behold, he came and lived with us. My daughter was born, and then for the following 3 years, he was really sick, so he's in and out of the hospital. And she was the first time. So right around 2, I would bring her to visit him. Right, they were best friends. Those two loved each other. Like
Wow.
it used to. I would get jealous, to be honest with you. But I'd bring her to visit him in the hospital, and I'd be walking, holding her little hand, and she would just like stop in the hallway. I'd be like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "There's monsters here." Right, and I'm like, she wasn't watching monster movies or anything at that point, and I'm like, "Ooh." She was freaking me out. So if I get her calmed down, we just, long story short, even too late.
We get all the time.
Yeah. In '08, I got to work that day. And I had like a 2-hour drive, popped the laptop open. Everybody that worked for me was sitting around, and I just got the worst feeling in the world ever. And I just closed the laptop, and everybody's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "I don't know, something's wrong." Phone rang. It was his nurse, and she was crying. And I was like, "You don't even have to say it." She's like, "I'm so sorry." So jump in the car, head back. I called my ex-wife. She was my wife at the time. I'm like, "Here's what's going on." I'm like, "Do we tell Ava?" And she's like, "No. How do you tell a 2.5?" She was 2.5 when this happened. How do you tell a 2.5-year-old that her best friend's dead? Okay, so I went to see him, made arrangements, all that stuff. I got home. She was cooking dinner, and my daughter was in her high chair still. And she started freaking out. She just started freaking out, crying out. And I looked at her, I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "We can't eat." She could talk early. She's like, "Can't eat. Grandpa's coming to say goodbye to me." Yeah. So I looked at my ex-wife. I'm like, "Did you tell her?" And she's like, "No." And I'm, "Did your mother-in-law say something? Did your mother say something?" She's like, "No." So I ended up getting her calmed down. And like 10 minutes later, this shit was straight out of a horror movie. She's like, "Oh, we can eat now." And I was like, I looked at her,
Oh my god.
"Why?"
God, I just got
like, "Why?" And she's like,
wow.
"Grandpa said goodbye." And I'm like, like, she's so weird. And I'm like, "You're weird." Fast forward, weird things started happening in the house. She was playing with him. I was moving her from a crib to a bed, right, which I had up against the wall. I was putting up her little princess stickers, and I'd find her playing with somebody out on the landing on the second floor. I'm like, then I started hearing things, then we started seeing things, and my ex didn't really believe, right? But she started believing. So for about a year or so, the house was just weird. It was strange. People would come over and experience things, my nephews, but that's what got me interested in. I'm like, I need answers. I spent 24 years in a very technical job for a big Japanese company, explaining things to people all over the world, right? And I could prove it.
Right.
Here's this challenge, and I'm like, I don't know, I got to know more. And so I did. I started watching the shows.
Yeah.
Started going on some public ghost hunts. And then I tried getting on a team, which was so damn hard to do, right? Because it was either like, you don't have enough experience, you don't have enough equipment,
Right.
you, which is eventually why Get Haunted was born. And I just stuck with it. And I got to work with a different public event company. I got to go all over the country, learn a lot, meet a lot of people. That ended up going south later. So I left the paranormal for like everybody, I retired just like everybody else retires from the paranormal.
Yeah.
It was like for a month. And then Get Haunted was born. So yeah, it's
cool.
funny. My dad kind of got quiet for a bunch of years, and just about 4 years ago, I had all these. It was Christmas. I had all these Amazon packages piled up by the door, and my daughter was like, she's like, Grandpa, he doesn't come around anymore, does he? I'm like, I don't know. I think he's around more than you think. And that top package, I swear to God, just fell right off. So I think like,
Wow.
if it was him, he's letting her know. So my kid, she's done 2 investigations. She's 19 now, 18 now.
Nice.
19. And it's just, she loves it, but it's not her thing. So, but that kid's a magnet for my dad, at least. It was really cool. But that's really how I got.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's
Everything
so cool.
that you said, pretty much everything that you explained about what happened with your daughter. Same thing happened with my daughter Heather when my mom and dad passed away 4 days apart. Back when I was 23, Heather was just 9 months old, and the same thing happened to her. And she was just a baby, but as she was getting older, like 2, 3, 4 years old, I would hear her in her room talking to someone and playing with someone, and I kept watching and peeking around the corner, and I'd ask her, and she said, "Grandma's here playing with me." And she described her to a T. And there's more, but this show's not about me; it's about you guys. So we'll do that on another show.
I think a lot of grandparents started off because I mean, especially if they passed away when the babies were babies and stuff, they didn't have that special time, and I hear that all the time.
Yep. I didn't. Because she was just so happy that that I had a girl, because I wanted a girl so bad. I already had 2 sons, and I didn't want to have a whole bunch of kids, but I was determined to have a girl, and so we didn't know until she was born if she was going to be a boy or a girl. We had no clue until she came out, and so she was so excited, and she was at my house every weekend and helping me with her. And then I had 3 kids, and I was young. I was a young mother. And so she was always there and just rocking her in the rocking chair. And she just really kind of bonded with her. And I think that's why she stuck around. She still hangs around her and her kids and all of us, really. I mean, she visits all of us, but yeah.
Yeah. And that was his only granddaughter, right? So like he just loved her, like and it's okay. He loved her more than me, I think. I mean, that was to him, that was his baby. So they had this crazy bond that it was just cool. Can these young children now apply?
My daughter can. She talks about it all the time on my podcasts and videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Ava remembers her experience at 2.5. I have the photo. She used to draw these crazy pictures, right, of the house with these black squiggles, right, and they would say "Save Grandpa Fred" or "Grandpa Fred's." I sent them to Sarah. They're creepy. Like
they're interesting.
Really?
Yeah. But it really got my interest going. Wasn't a disbeliever, but I had no desire to really go learn about it until this happened.
You want answers like how we want. We're trying to do it for the answers, not the creep factor, I guess, how other people go out and do it. Now I want to thank, we got 285 people in the house. Thank you.
Holy cow. They're like, where's the dirt?
I know, right?
Yeah, everybody wants some dirt, so we have to throw some dirt out there sometimes. If you guys don't have any, I got plenty, okay?
We got dirt.
Oh, how did you?
Well, if you're in the paranormal field, I guarantee you got some dirt. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know.
Well, so it's really cool because my show, so Paranormally Blonde, we're on our third year, right, Rob? Third year?
We're kind of, it'll be 3 years in October.
Okay. So somebody that is part of Get Haunted I'd been following them on Instagram, and they were following me, and they have their own team, Empty Casket Paranormal. And so anytime I would throw a question out or a request, Bill would always, respond and super helpful. And I think we went back and forth a little bit. And then I must have made a call out looking for guests, and Bill had responded and said, hey, I would love to be a guest on your show. I was like, that's perfect. And then he said, would it be okay if, I had my business partner come on, Rob? And I'm like, sure, bring him on. The more the merrier. Doesn't matter. Didn't know who a Rob was. And I'll be honest, like, for me, I love to get to know my guest on the show with everybody else. I don't do a lot of digging before a guest comes on, right? I only knew what I knew of Bill and Tanya because I followed them on Instagram, but I had no clue who this Rob was, right? But I knew his email was different than everybody else's. Like he was Rob at Get Haunted. So I threw that. What's that?
You just threw my whole email out there to everybody.
Well, everybody's got it. So they came on. We had them on back in December of 2021. And they came on, and I think, and I did, Rob and I made him rewatch this live with me before we went to an event. I was like, we're going to watch this together, which was kind of weird to watch it together live in person, like to watch yourselves again. Right. But you can see right away, like everything just resonated. I think when we look back at that moment, that show truly was the catalyst to sort of, even though it didn't happen until February. So he was on the show. I loved every single thing about Get Haunted. I loved everything that he had to say about it. I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, this is what I've been looking for. Because like he said, my sisters and I started a team in the early 2000s, like formally gave it a name. But trying to get into locations or trying to work with anybody was like near impossible. Like nobody was like letting us in or would talk to us really. We'd go to these public events. So I loved everything that Rob really had described. So I joined the network that night. Like I was like, I'm in, nice. I want to help. I want to support. And so we would talk like only on Facebook here and there, but not even, I mean, he would do like a post and he's pretty funny. He's got his moments.
Funny looking?
These really witty posts and I would comment and he'd comment back, but that was about it really. Maybe a couple times I reached out about how he does make merch. So I think I asked something about doing something for Paranormally Blind. I had a co-host at that time.
I like that.
But then it just kind of like, that was kind of that. It wasn't like we really talked personal or talked. And then he reached out to me in February of 2022. I always tell this story. I was minding my business, crick cutting, doing my thing. And I got this message from Rob Stakowitz. And I had bought a sweatshirt. He had a fire sale. And I was like, I'll buy a sweatshirt to help out. And he's like, hey, you support, I'm just going to give this to you. I'm like, no, I want to help. He had lost a piece of equipment. So I was like, I want to help. I'll buy the sweatshirt. And then he was just like, hey, have I ever told you this story? And I'm like, no. And, honestly, I think before Rob, like anybody else throwing that message out, it would have been like, no, do not tell me a story. I don't want to know this story. But we talked, we went back and forth and he shared some very personal, paranormal, and personal trauma. I will just say it now. I do not remember what I said. I remember pieces of what he said. I wasn't drunk or anything like that. It wasn't like that. I just, that conversation was a conversation that I think might have been just a universe thing. It was the right time, the right people, and it had to happen. And that was the day, February 2nd of 2022 was just a day that just started this whole crazy journey of Rob and I working together. So I didn't want to tell your part, Rob, because that's your story, but.
And you're going to stick to it. Well, it's, So let me ask you, do you have like gifts too then? Like you feel, like this is the guy, we're not hitting it off. That sounds horribly wrong, but you know what I mean? You knew you could work well, like Patty and I mean, we just clinged like that, and
Yeah.
So that's a hard question. I mean, for me to answer, I don't. Rob will answer that one better, I think, than I'm not quite comfortable answering, because I have imposter syndrome. I do believe this, Emmy. I do believe, because if I look back at the last 2 and whatever years, just like you said with Patty, there was no question. Like, I just never even thought about it. It just February 2nd happened. And every day after has happened. That's, I don't question it. And, as you get to know our story, 2s are very important for us. So when we actually dug, so March 22nd is when Bill reached out to ask to be on our show. And then the date I had available was December 22nd. And then he reached out to me February 2nd. So, and those don't stop. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, yeah. And then 222 days after Bill reached out to her, I launched Get Haunted officially. So, and then that's just the beginning. The 2s are insane. The 2s are.
That is so cool.
Yes, it is. So how many investigations have you guys done together?
Together? How many have you been on now? 7, 8, 9?
Yeah, really, it is fun. It's funny because I think if you hang out with us, and Emmy, you watch our crazy Wednesday lives, right? Yeah. You would probably think we're together 24 hours a day in person and doing our thing. So yeah, I only have a handful of investigations in, but to be honest with you, it is one of those situations where you just kind of I feel like I don't remember a time that I didn't investigate with him. Even though I don't have that many investigations under my belt.
Yeah. You guys do a lot of live streams together, though, obviously, then. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what's your favorite place that you've went to so far? Your favorite investigation?
Pressure is on.
They're all your favorites, right?
I mean, for me, I will say probably the Heyman House in Sutton, West Virginia. That one mainly, like, there's a couple reasons. One, that was the first time that I went and physically met Rob and another Get Haunted crew. My sister and I went. So that was just and we'd already been talking for months at that point, working together, right?
Right.
So to be able to go to Heyman House, number one, it is such a magical location. That house is, and the owner, Teresa, is just amazing. So that might be my favorite. I'm not, hard to say, because like you said, they all are my favorite for different reasons.
Same here. I know exactly what you're saying.
You got memories of every place. Like, I totally know that. Me and Pat, I can't even tell you how many places. I've spent more time on the East Coast with Patty than I have on the West Coast, like the last 4 or 5 years.
I've done a lot of I've investigated with her more than I have anybody, I think, right? Well, my daughter. I've done a lot with my daughter.
Yeah.
But anybody else, outside my daughter, besides my daughter, with Emmy, I've done most of my investigations with, and I just love filming.
When you're working together, you guys, you've got each other's back, and you're looking out for each other, and I get it.
Oh yeah.
So Rob, jump in and tell us.
Which part? You want to know the story? God. So, I actually kicked off Get Haunted in 2019 just for merch, right? I was already doing public events with someone else. I was fortunate. I got to go all over the country, almost every couple of weekends, from the Queen Mary to, the Conjuring house, and everywhere in between. So, after a bunch of years of doing that, I was kind of working the East Coast crew for that company, and we landed the Conjuring house, and that became like we were the first, right? The first event company in there. So they took like every date you could ever ask for, which pissed a lot of people off, right? I mean, I'm talking weekdays, weeknights. I think they had like 35 dates there for that year. So I went there my very first time in I think it was March of 2021. And it was crazy, right? It was crazy. To be there, you know, in this iconic location. And I know a lot of people on the side that may have been there and be like, it was quiet. And it was there a lot. But it was just to be there was amazing. Went home, you know, after that, and, you know, managing crew to do, you know, weeknights, people that have real jobs became a very difficult task.
Yeah.
Long story short, I ended up losing my big job after 24 years. You know, I was making a shit ton of money. It was New Jersey money, right? You know, I was making a lot. So I lose my job. That actually frees me up to work more, right? So I ended up working at the house probably more than I should have. So after 11 nights there, I had some amazing experiences, some scary experiences, but things started to not be good for me, right? Things, you know, there were things happening at home. I have videos of my dog getting kicked around. My ex-wife was hating me. Like, he would track something to the house. You know, I lose the job, the car, and the car was one payment from being paid off. I lose my car, all these things, right? And as Sarah said, I had a fire sale. It's because I had an actual fire. You know, I did a lot of laser engraving and whatnot. So $10,000 machine went up in flames, and that was my
at the time,
it was my only source of income after losing my job. And it's just, I hit the end of my rope, and you know, there's some weird things happening to me. And I'm like, I am cursed. Like, I feel like I'm cursed. Something isn't good here. I mean, I would leave that house and I get in my car, and the, you know, the seatbelt alarm would go off for the passenger seat, right? I'm like, well, why, right? Like, if something's sitting in the seat. And there were times I felt like I could. It got ugly. It was sort of the beginning of the end of my marriage there. And on this is a tough story for me to tell. On the morning, February.
Well, I
2nd.
appreciate you doing
Yeah,
this, because
okay. And I'm sorry.
I hope other people out there can listen to this, because I know there's a lot of people that can probably relate and are too afraid to even talk about it. So thank you, Rob.
It was hard, but, and look, I'm a military guy. You know, I have my ways about me, and I always felt like I was a strong person. But when you start to lose everything, including what you think might be your own sanity, because I wasn't sure I was crazy. The nice thing about my dog was that he would react to things too. So I was like, okay, all right, he knows. But that morning on 2/2, I took a shower. Leo was still, you know, I'd put him in the crate in the mornings, and going to get dressed, and I opened my sock drawer, and that's where I kept my 45. I kept my gun there. And I grabbed the socks, and I saw the handle of the gun, and I heard a voice, and it's all it said was, grab the gun. And for a minute, it sounded like an option, right? I shook it off. I got dressed. I got Leo out of the crate. Took him for a long walk, and I'm like, we're gonna burn this fucking house down. Getting out of the house. We just go live in the. I didn't know what to do at that point.
Right.
So my ex-wife, she came home. Things were a little weird for us at that point, and I was just sitting on the couch, and that same voice, for whatever reason, I still don't know why, said, call Sarah. And I did. And that's where this story starts. I was like, did I ever
You're
tell
talking
you
about Sarah right there.
This Sarah right here. Okay.
Yeah. So look, I needed to talk to somebody, and I don't know why it was her, but it was supposed to be her. So she listened, and I started telling her what was happening to me, and my feelings, and what that morning was like. And this went on for a couple hours. And she asked me some really weird, pointed, personal questions, like,
Right.
"Hey, when you were 8, did this happen to you?" And there was a moment I was like, "Who is this woman? Like, how does she even know that?"
Gifts come in that Sarah
Yeah.
doesn't talk about. Okay.
I'm sitting there and I'm going, yeah. So I said, she doesn't remember this shit. I do, and I did. I kept a whole journal of all my experiences there, and I thought it was. I don't know what was happening to me. I felt like it was the end. She started asking these questions, and we went on for a couple hours, and finally she was like, "Hey, I got to get to bed. She's like, I want you to think about this before you go." And she's like, "Those demons you're fighting, did you ever think that maybe they belong to you?" And I was like, "Huh." All right. So I said, "Have a good night." And I went and grabbed the journal, and then I took all my big experiences. And you guys think I'm full of shit if you want. Those big experiences tied directly back to traumas in my life. Like, the thing from 8 years old, something from my family, something from this.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that house and all these things that were happening to me went from being this horrible nightmare to all of a sudden I started seeing that these were all things that needed to get fixed, including my marriage, including my job. And if I started looking backwards, I was like, so I hated my job. I made a couple $100,000 a year, but I hated it. I drove 2.5 hours there each way. And that had to happen for me to get to the house. So the house, the Conjuring house for me, ended up being spiritual boot camp and not the movies, right? It's a long ass story, and I'll tell you, every single big experience, almost, there was probably 2 that I still haven't tied back to, just led to trauma. It led to this thing in me that needed to be fixed. And then somehow, like, I should have sent this to you. There was this photo of taken of me on the very first day that's kind of creepy, but now it all makes sense, right? We go into these places sometimes front loaded with the story, the Conjuring house. We heard the movies, we read the books, whatever you want to believe, and that was what I kind of perceived everything as. I didn't have that. So Sarah, next day, I'm like, "Hey," like, how? He's like, "I don't even know what I asked you." And I do, and I've shared only a couple things with her because
he won't tell me. I've asked, like, I really don't know. I know I asked about ages, how, and that seems to be my thing.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
You have them send it to you, because it is nuts when you see it, like,
as
right
day
there.
one in there, right? But and I didn't know that photo existed until I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sarah.
No, you're good. You're good. Go.
Somehow Andrea got that photo and was using it in her lectures, and my friend was at her lecture in Florida or somewhere, and he's like, "Hey, dude, there's that you?" And I'm like, "How the hell did she get that?" So I ended up talking. Andrea called me, and we talked, and I explained what my version of the story now. It was a perception thing. And even if we're all dead wrong, it's way better to look at it this way, right? She's like, "Holy shit." Like,
Dead, no
Rob,
pun intended.
yeah, she's like, you get it. So, as much as that house is feared and the stories are tied to it, it's a magical place, and I'm not saying there's not something wicked there.
Right.
I don't think it's what everybody thinks it is. But that house will fix you. And I'm not the only one. I did Andrea's show. I went through this whole story, and all of a sudden I started getting calls from Australia, from all over. All these people were like, "Holy shit, now I get it." And other people had this, once they looked at it differently, it became so much easier to understand all of these things that were happening to them, and it helped them identify areas that they needed help with.
That's
Or
cool.
things to work on. So it was pretty badass. So at the end of the day, Sarah did probably save my life, because I was done. I was in deepest, darkest hole I think I've ever been in. And
Sounds like it. And she was put in your life for a reason. You know, I
yeah,
believe
she
that
did.
there's no accident. You know,
Oh,
she was
no,
put there for a reason. She could be your guardian angel. She could be. You guys could be soulmates. Soulmates don't have to be like. You could have several soulmates. You know,
Yeah.
be married to be soulmates.
yeah,
You
it was
know? So,
just I don't hear voices, right? None of that shit. But that day, something spoke to me.
huh.
It's crazy. It was
Well,
just
I'm
crazy.
glad
So
you
that's
called her though. Like,
I am
so am I.
too.
God,
thank you, Sarah, for being there for him.
Yes,
How long
and
did you guys
just
know each other when that happened? Like, not very long then, right?
2 months. And I didn't even know him. I didn't even
Wow.
really, it was just a month if you think about it, Rob, because you came on my show December 22nd. We had a couple like on Facebook back and forths through January and then
I want to
February
cry
2nd.
that's actually
it's crazy.
wow. So
It's
everybody
crazy.
out there that heard this story between them two, if you're going through anything at all, any kind of situation where you're thinking that, reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Reach out to the first person that pops in your mind, like that you feel like strongly about. I think I can talk, even if it's somebody you don't know that well, like in their case.
Yeah.
You know,
Perfect
reach
example.
out to me and Emmy. We'll
Yep.
talk to you.
I'll
Yeah.
talk to you. I
We'll
know.
talk
I
off a
know what it's
ledge.
like to be there, and it's the worst place I'd ever been. And thank
Yeah.
God. I don't know. It's such a crazy story. And then
no, it's a
started.
beautiful story. Like,
It is, but it
more
gave.
people need to talk about. I know it's crazy. You're saying crazy, but
But
more people
that's
need to
how
know
this.
about this story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do. I believe so too. It's a great story, and I think it should be shared out more. You
We
know,
did a
Yeah.
lecture. We did a lecture on it last
there
year.
you go. That's
That was
awesome.
so cool. Um, you know, it's part of being in the paranormal, right? You do need to identify and think about. And we do a show called "Seek with Your Soul." We've kind of taken a break from it, but sometimes what we bring to the paranormal is exactly what we need to see and hear.
Mhm.
It's not always, old man Joe upstairs
Mhm.
in his rocking chair. Sometimes it's the universe letting you know, hey,
Yes.
you need to work
Yeah.
on something. So
Yeah.
that's how this all started.
Wow, that is such an incredible story. I'm gonna go grab. I gotta take my back is killing me, and I forgot. I just realized I didn't.
You're like, see, now she's got to take her crazy meds
I
because of you
didn't
guys.
take.
No,
I didn't take it at 8 o'clock like I normally do. I totally forgot. So let me go take it real quick. I gotta
Go ahead.
take it and maintain.
See,
I'll be right
I
back.
love the fact that this is a part that I didn't know about you guys because you guys are very fun loving. Go take your medicine, Patty. We don't need to hear you. You know, this is why I like to get to know people too. And you do hear these amazing stories, and and your story will help somebody out there.
I hope so.
And look, we got like almost 300 people watching,
Jesus.
and
Well, Emmy, it's interesting because I think when we see everybody on social media, and obviously the three of us are not strangers to the ugly side of
Right.
what that brings. And when we get to share this part of who we are and how we met and why we do, and everybody's going to have their opinion. Everybody's going to pretend or assume or speak as if they know exactly what our intentions are. But when we do get to have that moment to get to know each other and bring out that human side, and I'm being honest when I say, when you don't really know somebody on social media and they reach out and they want to tell you this story, I never knew that component to the
Right.
story until further down the road, right? He didn't share that piece with me. But like I said, right, like normally it would have been like, why, right? But there was never a question. It was, he reached out, he wanted to share a story. And you know, if we're mindful about why people could be reaching out just for a hot second, we don't know what somebody's going through. I didn't know. And to be honest with you, it wasn't really until last September, I think, Rob, when you made slides for our lecture, and he actually puts a slide of the sock drawer. And that sort of was probably the first time that that piece sort of hit me, because I didn't know that piece. He never shared that piece with me. But it didn't, that wasn't the point for me to speak to him, but you know, it was being able to share such, if you knew this, I do know his Conjuring house story, obviously now. And when you hear his experiences after being there for, what was it, 11 nights, Rob?
Yeah, at that point, we're up to 17 now.
Yeah. So, you know, after 11 nights there, right, there were, and I am not somebody that has experiences like that. So I was taking this stuff in, and things just sort of, it just never had a thought process about it other than let's work. And we just did. We dug in that day. And I think we just really never stopped working on just ourselves.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You know, for me too, it was, because I think I still ask her to this day, I'm like, do you believe me? Right. I think at the end of that, I needed someone to believe me.
That's right. You did say that. You said first that I do remember of the conversation before we said goodbye. You said, because we were messaging, he said, do you believe me? And I said, yes. And then his last question was, do you think I'm crazy? And I said, no. I didn't. That wasn't a lie. It was just an honest to God share. Now, why did he choose me? I don't know. We don't know. I think we can sort of surmise that universe had a bigger plan there. But maybe telling somebody that didn't know all of that was easier to share, right? Yeah. I didn't know him. So he could give me this information, and how I hope one day you will tell me, Rob, what questions I asked. And when I tell you, it drives me insane. Yeah. I don't black out. It's nothing like that. I just do not recall any of the questions, because he's like, you were asking me questions about periods of my life that I don't even know how you knew.
Well, the beauty of that was there was something very, 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 it's going to sound nothing like family, nothing weird. But there was something really big that happened at 8 years old.
Right.
And I had buried that shit, and I hadn't thought about it. I didn't think I was thinking about it, but clearly it was living in my brain somewhere. And there was something that happened at the house that did remind me of that. And so it brought it back to the surface. And it was something it took me 40 something years to kind of let go. I finally let go and stopped thinking about it. But she honed in on it. It was one of the first questions.
That's cool.
Oh, it's freaking weird. So that's how that all started, you know. And the pitch was to Sarah back, you know, in October about, I wanted to get haunted to be, you know, look at the paranormal community, and I see like a lot of silos, lots of silos. There's people over here doing things, people's skill sets over here, lawyers, doctors, creative people.
Yeah.
Why aren't we all working together? And I think that's what resonated, ultimately got us talking, and then turned Get Haunted into what it is. But Sarah does make a good point, right? Because since we're not strangers to the bullshit that's out there, people do run with half stories and half truths and half whatever.
Oh God, yeah.
And until they really get to know you, and I've offered this. We have both offered this for a year now. Like any Wednesday, if come sit down and talk. We can talk through something, right? That's why I jumped on your show. I mean, because talking is really what it's all about. But I think, you know, the current climate's a little weird, but it's
actually, I think comprehension is what it's all about. It might be a bigger comprehension problem than a talking problem.
Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's what keeps me fiercely protective of Sarah, right? Because look, she saved my life. of Get Haunted because we truly believe in it, and I will actually. I'll go broke doing this, and this is not cheap. I've spent, I had a great job. I was able to save a lot of money after the divorce. Not so much, but this is all we do. And I put a lot of money into it, and I will protect it until the end. And if
I
people
don't blame you. Same here.
it goes.
Yep.
Night, Ian. Ian's going to bed. Ian
Oh,
can't wait.
Ian, he's tired from cooking.
I was going to say, I know how you feel when you want to protect that person. That's how I felt with Patty too, because the internet, all this bullshit that was happening, and we went to Tennessee. And if Patty was a weaker person, I don't think she'd probably be here today. But she had her grandkids, and shit really hit her hard too. So, I'm like you. I protect her. I have to protect her. I'm like, she's my, my sister, and totally understand. And I was going to say that Terry Charms. Sometimes you're at the right place at the right time. She was having a bad meltdown, and this is probably one of the scariest times in my life where she was actually pointing live on camera guns at her head, and I really didn't know her, but my thing was to keep her on camera. Tell my husband, he was calling around trying to get where she lives so we can get her help. And then I didn't see her for a year. And then I guess we as a community, because we had to even reach out to enemies like, you got to help us. Come on. This lady's life's at danger right now. And I didn't hear from her for a year. So I was really worried, but I guess they ended up taking her in. They came back later that night, the police, and they took her away, evaluated her. She's changed her life around, and it's been almost a year. So.
And who is this?
Terry Charms right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, that's an awesome story.
And at the time, I was a complete stranger too.
It has an awesome ending to it. I mean, that's great that you reached out, and I've been to a point, my son died by suicide, and I didn't think I was going to make it through that.
Yeah. And
at one point I thought maybe I should just do the same thing and go be with him, but then I thought, I can't do that. I see what he's done has done to me and the family and the kids, and how could I turn around and do the same thing, So all these things are going through your head, and the depression and the sadness can just really tear you apart, and you don't know which way to turn. You just don't know what to do, which way to turn. And sometimes I think people just feel like that's their only way out, and I know a lot of people that have come very close to that.
Yeah.
And
it's sad.
It is sad. It really is.
It's so much easier just to be kind, right? And look, Sarah, like I'm an infantry guy, a dude from New Jersey, Mr. Whatever. Sarah's the Buddhist, right? So the whole yin yang thing kind of works, right? Because look, when she was being attacked, I was ready. I'm like, I'm ready to get out there. And she kept me on the rails, and she still does to this day. So there's this, you've got to have that balance. It's okay to be upset and to not feel well, or to feel great about a situation. But what Sarah has taught me is not to react, and reacting is almost never okay, especially when it's fresh, right? So
that's true.
But at the same time, people need to, they don't think, I believe people don't think about the potential impact that their words, that their actions, that even one simple email can have.
I know.
Not just one person, but an entire family, an entire community.
Yep.
And it's really sad. It's really sad. So
it really is.
part of what I believe, some of our friends are, are regular, they call themselves side pieces, are on the side there. That's what we try to live and breathe with the Get Haunted Network is, we're all right here for each other. We do. We meet up for things sometimes. We hang out. We make jokes. Because it's just so much better to be nice than it is to.
Oh, it is.
It really is.
It is.
And what the people did to me, I mean, that could have easily caused me to fly off the handle and go do something crazy.
Well, I did see the difference with Patty. She was not herself, and
they didn't care. They did not care. And some of these are bigger YouTubers, and it's hard to imagine that they, when you're a big YouTuber to try to go after somebody and slander them and belittle them and get so many people out there to harass them and their children, because my grandchildren had to be taken out of school, all 6 of them.
I'm going to cut you off on that. I met her grandsons, and Brock he's 12 years old, and this is when we went to Tennessee and stuff like that. He told me that a gamer that he was playing with and stuff had told him, and I hate saying this is horrible.
No, the people
need to hear it. Had told him to go kill himself like his father did and to take his grandmother with him. And my heart just sunk. I'm like,
one of their
my
fans,
God.
One of their big fans. We know who this person is. He's still a big fan of theirs, and I'm sure he'll never come clean it.
And it's horrible that people do that. And
it's a shame. It's a shame, and that's just a smidgen of what they created when they did what they did. People don't stop and think about what their actions are going to cause for a family.
Well, I think it's this whole the internet, right? We've talked about this. Rob and I have talked about this on shows before. I think there's so many people, when we look at really what's going on, right? So many people are hurting, and then they use the internet or social media as a form of dehumanizing others, and they just spread their pain like a lot faster than they used to, right? In the 70s and 80s, you kick somebody's ass physically.
Right? Yeah.
Let's go fight. But now at the drop of the hat, you can destroy people's lives without even thinking twice. And, and so this is what's really sad to me. And I wanted to say, I saw on the side, Joanna, I think I just saw her really sad story. And I'm sorry that you lost your daughter and husband back to back. People, all it takes is just a hot second to be kind, a hello, or how about this, work on yourself. If you're that miserable, why don't you reach out to somebody and ask for help? But instead, we have this, it is a very strange thing to me. And I know that my focus is in paranormal. I know it's everywhere. But in the paranormal, there seems to be this, it's okay, it's trendy, it gets the views. But what Rob and I have talked about is on all these things that we see going on, these huge call outs or, doing these big exposés on people, yet what's the solution other than causing a shitstorm for somebody else? What's the solution? And why are we okay with that? Hey, Adam.
I know, because there's a lot of douchebags out there watching, cheering them on. Cheering them on. That's what you see. Like, I got thousands and thousands of screenshots of comments of people cheering these assholes on when they did what they did to me and my family, cheering them on. Okay. I mean, it was, I was blocking people for days because of the hatefulness and the comments, and people want to believe everything they hear. People that knew me, I thought knew me. I mean, it's all because one person was a hater and wanted to cause problems, and everybody.
I want to say the paranormal.
Okay,
we're all trying to find the same answer, but the paranormal community is worse than the drama community.
It is so bad. It is so.
It's horrible.
It's so bad. It makes me sick to my stomach. That's why I almost quit.
But, I think when you share those stories, when Rob shares his story, Patty, your story, Emmy, we've done shows with some of our show hosts in our program. You know, when somebody's just feeling a little bit, it doesn't matter why somebody's feeling lonely. You know, we jump on and we'll pop on in the middle of doing whatever and hang out with our host and just talk. Sometimes that's what people need, you know, and I do believe that's why some people do show up on the side. You don't feel so alone. We can talk about things, be real. You know, look, I'm sure Rob and I have been an asshole to somebody. We've never once claimed we were perfect or, you know, but what I will say is we would never go out and actively destroy somebody or start a shit campaign, or we just don't have the time or the heart to do that. And I think that's where people need to, it would be nice if we could get even one person to just be a little bit more honest about what it is you're really upset about. Let's help. Let's work together. You don't have to like me in the end, but maybe you'll feel a little bit better. I don't know.
Exactly. Like me and Emmy, for instance, we've had a couple, we've had some, we talk about it because that's what friends do. That's what you do. You know,
me on Facebook, damn it. But no,
I know. We talk about it, though, you know? That's what you're supposed to do. I usually like to take some time to myself, really think about things, and then I'll reach out and I like to just, you know, I'll separate myself from situations. That's kind of how I handle it for my own peace of mind, because I don't want to go off the handle and say something stupid or something I'm going to regret. So I have learned over the years to just separate myself from a situation and take few steps back, let the air clear. Maybe in a month or so, then I'll address it again. You know what I mean? Because then you've got time to like reflect and think about it and not say something stupid or something you're going to regret. So that's what I do. I distance myself, and then for everybody's sake, because I can really fly off the handle. You know, I know I can. I know I can. So
yeah. So you know, it's been hard. It's been, especially lately. It's tough to look at the sort of cannibalism happening. You know, within the field. But I do believe, I just feel like 2024 is going to sort all this shit out, right? And there's either it might still be like the Hatfields and the McCoys, but at least we'll know who they are, right?
Exactly. 2024 is supposed to be the year for everybody to get their karma. People that deserve karma are supposed to get it this year. That's what they say.
Yeah. Like, again, it's just to understand, like, what I don't like, you know, there are people, and Patty, you know, there are people that will create a story or a narrative or just total lies, and then people just run with it. We watched it happen early on last year. Somebody made a video about Get Haunted that was completely inaccurate, like not even one fact checked, right? That
you learn something new about yourself every day.
I know.
We were this.
I know, me too.
And I wake up to this, and I'm watching it just. It was like a movie. I'm watching it get shared. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
wow.
None of this is true. He is the only one that agreed. I messaged him like, dude, like, what are you doing? This is not even close to accurate. I'm sorry. Well, come on a show and let's talk about it. Right. And he did. He took a show, and he balled up because, you know, our loyal people were kind of giving him hell on the side. But he did take down the video, and he did take down, and he did apologize, and he did the right thing. But we had a conversation, and that is what fixed it. And that's the thing that's missing. I think all of the big shit that you're seeing lately, even some that involve me, there are no conversations happening. Zero.
I've been watching Spitfire's comments. I love him. I don't know who's him. So, you know, watching his comments, you know, I love that, because here's the thing. We have zero problem with debunking. Zero. I think you need to have the entire conversation. You should have all the information. I think the unfortunate part is there are debunkers who want to have a conversation and give and take and have an back and forth. And then there are those that just want to just not hear anything other than their opinion, and that's not a debunker. That's just an opinion, right? So I love what Spitfire is saying over here. I totally support that. You know,
he's a good person. He really is, and he gets believed out there.
And Spitfire, I don't know if you ever got my message, but thank you. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A stranger, another example of a stranger
Mhm.
being kind to someone.
Mhm.
So Spitfire, thank you. Seriously.
Just a smile to somebody can brighten somebody's day up because they can be down and out, and
It's true. Just
I
like
think
if you're
that's
in a
why we like
grocery
talking to
store.
the dead more.
Yeah, I
'Cause
like
some
talking to
people
the dead more than I do the living.
Yeah.
It's like if you go to the grocery store and you see, and I've tried this, okay, and it usually works. Like if you see somebody that just looks like they're mad at the world, or like they're just something's not right. Maybe they're having a bad day. They just seem like an asshole. Kind of like, you look at them like, hey, what's this fucking guy's problem, But then I started thinking, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try smiling at them and saying hello. How you doing today? Just to see. And people, you wouldn't believe, people will they'll lose that shit face that they have, and they'll turn around and smile back and say, oh, thank you. Oh yeah, you have a nice, I'm doing good. They'll talk to you. And I've been doing that a lot, like when I go to places. And today when I picked my vehicle up at the GMC dealership, because I had to have it anyway, that's another story. But anyway, I was in a rental, put me in a rental car for a couple of days, but my car's still under warranty, so I had to have it in there. And I go there to pick it up, and there was some guy walking across the parking lot, and I'm just kind of walking along, looking over the paperwork, and he just says, hey there, ma'am. And I'm thinking he's going to tell me. So I just want to tell you, you have a wonderful day and a great week.
And that makes
on, and it really made me feel good. And I go, you know what? You too. You haven't, and I just bounced back like, you too. Thank you so much for that, and it put a big smile on my face. I got in the car, and I'm like,
I want to say,
smile. I went
this
from
actually
to smiling,
I'm cutting Patty off.
I'm sorry, no.
No, this actually took a different turn than what I planned. Because
what were you planning?
Yeah, what the hell were you doing?
I don't know, like the places you guys have been, but this become more serious, and
this is stuff we needed to talk about. I guess
more people need to hear this, and
here's what keeps us coming back. I mean, let's do a little. How many people are watching? How many people are watching right now?
Oh, we got about 280.
All right, and I'm gonna assume they're both for you and Patty. Oh, most of them are you and Patty.
No,
right? We have a few of our friends over there. Hey, folks on the side, what would you do if Patty and Emmy said, you know what, fuck it, we're done, paranormal's done, and they walk away from it? Would anybody on the side be upset? Because I know 280 people are going to chime in right now. And that's how it works for us too over on the network, right? That when they see us down, they come over, they get haunted people come over, and they're like, hey, you guys better not, you guys can't walk away, guys. So it is the community that keeps us going, and it's where it is, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys. That's why we keep coming. There are days where I'm just like, oh
yeah,
I'll go dig ditches or some shit, because like this isn't worth it.
But don't you think, in my opinion, and again, I think I do, when I said in the beginning, I tend to work backwards about where I started by knowing, I know I'm more mindful today, right? I'm mindful about what I'm doing in the paranormal today. So I kind of can look backwards now. But what I will say, with Get Haunted, and, for your friends on the side that might not know, some people might say Get Haunted's an event company, and that's just not the truth. We are first and foremost a network. And when we say network, we mean a network of people networking together. And we see it every day, people collabing, people working together, people offering their services. And then on top of that, we have services that we provide. It can be anything from making merchandise to, gosh, I don't even know. I mean, we do anything. We'll help you, in any way we can. And then we have the paranormal podcast program. So we're hooking up hosts to help each other out and cross promote. And then the way we like to connect with the community is through events. That's why we put events on, so we can go out and physically connect with this community. But what I will say is, I would say after 2 years, and I don't know, Rob, if you love this or not, but after 2 years, it's yes, it's the paranormal, it's that interest that is common in all of us. But what I have found for us, and doing Get Haunted things, it's the connecting of the living people. And our events, you know, we make friends that turn into family at every
Yes.
event. And then those people start to work together, and I watch them help lift each other in their journey. So it's really the connecting of living people that Get Haunted, I think, and I'm going to pat us on the back for this, that I think we're really good at. And I do think that is one thing that can irritate some people.
Yes.
You know, they like to add all sorts of things with, you know, we're a money grab. We're, you know, we're all about, we're not. We need to get there so we can keep the business going. Yes, we are a business, and I do not apologize for that. Rob does not apologize for that.
And you shouldn't have to. It is a business.
Yeah, it's a small business. It is what we chose to do. It's what Rob chose to do. But I think it's the connecting, and I think it's this conversation that just validates that, is, you know, we're connecting with you two and connecting with the side, and everybody's being so open and vulnerable on the side. It's a beautiful thing to see that this is what people really want, you know, and we do it. And I do think, like Rob stated, sometimes when we go on these investigations, what we do have experiences with is the universe talking through the other side to connect us together. I am a big believer that I go to the events I'm meant to be at. I don't force those situations. The people that are there, the people that I'm supposed to be with, and something profound does happen. What does that mean? Profound can mean different things for different people, but I have found so many things have been profound on each investigation with Get Haunted, and I'm grateful for every one of them.
Yeah.
And just to Sarah hit on one point, and Damien made a comment that he doesn't believe in making money on spirits. We're not. I make money on living people. That's the truth, right? There's this weird double standard there too, right? It's okay for it. So we have a location, right? The location's allowed to charge for people to come in, but that you can't have a middle person. That's a whole nother show, right? A little bit unfair. But I'm going to give you an example, Damien, right? There are certain locations I spend $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year with, right? They need that money. That's how the doors stay open. Most teams are not going to be able to provide that kind of money to any location throughout a year, right? It's just outside of their scope. And then you can bleeds out into something called the paranormal economy, right? Which helps local businesses, it helps gas stations, it helps hotels in local areas. So you know, that one I can debate all day long. At the same time, you know, you've got people that are curious and interested in coming. Then we're fully insured, so some locations you need that $1 million in general liability or $2 million in general liability insurance. But most of our guests are really, really new to the paranormal, curious about it, and just want to get in. So, you know, when we host events, it's subsidizing, but we're not making money off of the spirits. What's your tagline, Sarah? It's got the best tagline in the world.
Oh, well, Get Haunted, we cannot promise you a paranormal experience, but we can promise you an experience in the paranormal. And that truly is going to the locations, learning history, meeting other people that you might not have had the opportunity. And when people say you're making money off of this, well, you know what? It is a convenience for some people. You know, what we provide between we have all of our crew, all the teams that we use to help lead these investigations. We don't believe in one thought here. We don't believe in one belief, one methodology. You know, we don't. What we want is for anybody interested and curious in the paranormal to come out and get all of it. Check it all out. Something might resonate. You know, I don't follow a Christian narrative. I gave that up 14 years ago and started doing Buddhism. So, you know, it's just a different way to look at things. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's right for me. So what works for you. Yeah. So what we offer is somebody looks at what we offer and they say, you know what, it's worth it to buy an event ticket. They come out, they get to use all of our equipment. We have some of the best equipment out there and they can use it. They can learn methodologies, they can try things, and then they can go and explore on their own. So for somebody to take that away from somebody that might not have had that, and by the way, Hello, when I wasn't part of Get Haunted, a team wouldn't even look at me to help me. So we don't close our doors. We bust those doors open for anybody who wants it. So if that makes you angry that people want this, then you need to ask yourself, what are you really angry about? Because everybody should have the opportunity. We're not forcing people to buy tickets. We've never said you better buy them or else. They choose to.
I'm going to start to, though, because I do. If I'm going to be accused of getting rich off of this, I better start getting rich.
Me too. Oh my God, me too. I've heard it so much over the last few years that people, oh, you're making money off of your dead son. How many times I've heard that? Oh, it makes me so mad.
And people who, like me, that are in it, or to find the answers, I want to say it's a very expensive hobby for me.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of people, if you don't realize how much it costs to go and rent a place and stuff, I mean, you're looking at $200 to thousands of dollars for sometimes just 6 hours. And what they're doing is a service that, I've seen the prices of their tickets, and oh my God, I wish I lived closer. I'm just going to say that. And
we feed you.
And we feed you.
We feed you. We give you soda, water.
And the thing is, it goes back out to the community too, because you guys don't all pocket that. You've got to buy more equipment. You know, stuff like that. I get it. And for people to say, "Oh no, you're making money off it," you guys, you're not making nothing off of paranormal. I'm just saying it's more expensive than
it makes me so mad because people will complain about it. They'll sit and watch the videos all day long. It's like, but then they get mad if we're making a penny off of it or something. But
and I wanted Terry
places we spend money on gas, hotel, like you said. Some of these places charge money for us to go in there. We got to eat while we're out traveling. I mean, all these things. So if somebody donates money to me, that's nice of them to donate. Or if we make a little money off of our YouTube views, I mean, it's helping go back into what we do. We're not getting rich off of it. I know a couple people are getting rich off of it, but that's because they're faking everything they do.
Is that the comment you were looking for?
Yeah, I just want to touch on this real quick, Rob. Terry, that's such a great point. So that is something that we do, and we don't charge for that. Like we have our team. I will host the live, and Rob will go out with the crew, and they will pick a location, and we will let the side decide what equipment, what experiment they want to see, where in the location, because like Terry said, like some people can't physically get out, or they just enjoy the visual of it and they don't want to physically be there. So and just so everybody realizes too, our paranormal podcast program, folks, we don't take a dime from anybody. We don't have the shows paying us. So what we truly are creating here is a network, and we want to build the community up and to help each other. And you know what? Life takes money. And as Patty said, when you go to these locations, you're helping restaurants, hotels, gas stations, convenience stores. What are we really complaining about? Like, I'm okay with the complaint. I have no problem if somebody's angry. I think for me, where I want to go is, let's really get down to, what are you really mad about? Yeah. What is the real problem here? Is it because we're doing it and you're not?
Yes,
Or, and I'm not saying that's what that person was saying.
I know. I thought the same thing.
No, we get beat up. Listen, do you know how much it costs just for a tire on my Lamborghini?
Your private jet.
Okay.
You know how much it costs for a tire on a 2000 diesel truck? Come on.
You know how much it costs for a tank of gas in my Hummer?
Yeah, that's right. 2 miles per gallon.
That's what I got to get. I got to get to Patty status so I can get a Hummer.
Yeah. I don't have a Hummer. I wish I did. I love that. If I ever win the lottery, I'm buying a Hummer.
I have a Ford Escape. Yeah, so it's a great point. And yeah, Patty, you're right. Like, I think I'm afraid I still haven't done my taxes. I'm scared. But I know last year we spent about $15,000 just on hotels for people around the country. And now with Sarah picking Airbnbs out for us,
A lot cheaper.
No,
Mhm.
no, yeah, they're cheaper. You just can't stay in them. We had to flee one not that long ago.
Oh
Look, when you
no.
don't know where you're going, it
I
looks
know.
beautiful.
Well,
did.
we know all
Sure.
about that, don't we, Emmy?
Yeah. Oops, I made a mistake
There
a couple
was
We
times.
there was a
literally,
tweaker in the parking lot. There was all kinds of crazy stuff going
oh
on.
my
for
God,
people
we
places.
pulled up to a gunshot wound. Somebody got shot in the chest.
I don't mean to laugh.
Then we go in, which was a half a block from this house. The guy didn't know we were coming
Oh my God.
for whatever reason. And next thing I know, I'm standing in the middle of someone's living room, and I'm like, "Well, I don't think we're supposed to be here." I was met
God.
with a baseball bat. It was just one of those.
Wow.
I'm off
Oh
that
my
duty. So
God.
I never have to pick again.
Yeah,
I don't
he got
blame you.
fired from Airbnb duties.
Oh
I did.
my God.
Holy cow.
Well, we like bed and breakfasts, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
Safe.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
like.
I've been there, done that. I was the one that would coordinate to where we would stay. Oh, I made a few mistakes.
Oh, you sure did.
happened.
Oh my God. I said, Emmy, there ain't no fucking
Two
way I'm
mistakes
staying
in
here.
one
I
trip
sat
in
in the
one
car
week.
for the longest time that night. Remember, I sat in the car and I'm freezing to death, and I'm like, I'm not going in this place. It's a shithole. And look at the tweakers over here doing some kind of jiving dance up against the
dance,
wall. I'm
yeah.
like, oh no, no.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
But
So
see,
but
the people.
you guys are
Go ahead.
always welcome. You should come. Like, our events are fun. I wanted to, if I learned anything at the last place I was doing public events, it was what not to do, right? And I wanted to get haunted to be something far different, and it is. And it's why we get so many loyal people that keep coming. We try to make it cheaper. We offer these VIP discount cards.
It's amazing prices. I'm
but
just going to throw that out there,
won't
people.
even buy. They're like, nope, we're going to pay you full price. And as we expand it, it's cool. But again, that's really a small part of it. Even though it takes up an awful lot of time, we wanted to see the community come together, and what we're seeing are teams being formed, right? And that's another thing that was part of our charter is we bring in co-hosts. We'll bring in a team, right? So Two Brothers Extreme. We brought in one of the first teams we brought in was a group of deaf women from New England called Silence Paranormal. We can learn from anybody, like we did Estes method with sign language. That was one of the coolest. Oh my God. And it worked, right? I'm like, this is the coolest thing.
I had talked about doing that with somebody. Oh my God.
Yeah, you should do
Okay.
it. You should do it. So, we bring them in alongside of us wherever we can. We'll throw them the keys. It's not about us, and we never wanted it to be about us. Sadly, I get put in magazines and things every now and then. It just happens. I'm joking. Oh yeah, that magazine.
Wow.
But no, it's not. It's really about the community at the end of the day, and it's why the people that have found us tend to stay with us.
Yeah.
It's been a great run. It's been cool. We don't get 300 viewers like you two.
No, we do not.
I don't normally get it. I think it's all of us. I really don't normally get that many. And, we've all networked out tonight, and that's what makes it really amazing, because my people are going to go to your people, and your people going to come to my people.
Oh, they will.
But I will have your guys' links in, down below. I got your guys' bio and stuff like that. And yeah. So.
And my typos.
Oh, that's true.
Believe it or not, we kind of lived. Both Sarah and I kind of lived not under rocks, but I wasn't a big part of the social media side of the paranormal until she took over, right? Because I had like three followers. Sarah literally sent a message one day. She's like, "Hey, You suck at social media. I'm your new social media manager.
Well, what's really funny about that really confident email that I sent is that I was no better. I just was like, I'm better than him. I could probably get
Yeah.
there. Because
yeah,
I'm
that's
not
my-
a social media wizard by any means.
No, but she grew it. She grew our following really quickly.
You guys balance each other out too.
Yeah,
Is what I
that's
see.
good. That's great. We'd love to meet up with you guys sometime.
Yeah, you
It's
should.
fun.
We're-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun.
you're east side. You're East Coast.
I'm in Florida.
Okay.
I'm
She's
West. I'm Oregon.
Oregon. She
But
came down here
I
once
will-
to stay for 3 weeks, and we did all kinds of
Oh,
stuff,
geez.
even kayak.
Kayak, yes.
Yeah.
Patty and her grandkids would be like, "Where our energy's here. Here's Emmy's energy.
Mm.
So we got to kind of meet her up there somewhere." I am going to be going to Penhurst.
Yeah, you're like before we go to the Paracon, I think. You're like
Oh,
right
that's right.
before that.
Yeah, you're gonna
Right
be
after
like,
the Paracon at Penn. You guys are going to be at the Penhurst Paracon?
oh yeah, yeah.
I'm just a week after that.
Oh, that's right. We're just
45
missing
minutes from me, so
That's okay. We can probably meet up.
we can meet up. I'll take you guys out for some.
Hey, Ernie.
some get haunted food.
There's Ernie.
Oh,
Oh, there's the pack, man.
Oh,
Yeah, he's really he's what is it? Get haunted. Never mind. I was gonna make a stupid joke. Nah, no.
Say it, say it,
I was
say it.
gonna make a bad joke. There's the pack.
Go
Just
ahead.
come to Wednesday Lives. You can hear all the dumb jokes on
Yeah.
Wednesday Live.
I'll save it for the Wednesday.
Now, is that place open back up again? I think it was Ernie that was telling us about it, wasn't it, a while back with the house?
Not Penhurst. It was Waverly.
Yeah,
Yes. Are they back in business again or no?
Yeah,
They are. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Is he still a part
But
of that?
Ernie, I'm going to throw him out there. Ernie, they have their own place, and now I can't remember where it's at.
Fort
my gosh.
Duffield in West Point, Kentucky.
Oh,
They-
nice. Okay.
And the Ditto House.
The real Ditto House of 1841.
Ooh, what?
Look how proud of herself she is. She's like,
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Like, I grew,
It's a lot to remember, but I do remember that.
is.
Yes. So West Point, Kentucky, the real Ditto House Inn is where they live. So they have, I believe they're sold out there now. They had 5 investigations that they were selling because they do live in that house. So they worked out 5 throughout the year to work with their schedule. But then they also run the Fort Duffield that is right across the street from their home. And that's got everything from cryptid to ghost to just, it's got to have UFO activity. So
Bigfoot's. I'm afraid of Bigfoot. That's, I am.
It's in my backyard.
I know.
I'm just like in the heart of it. Yes,
Oh.
I did. Ernie, I said it wrong the first week I knew you guys. I never said Fort Duffield, but now I would say, I think Fort Dufflin. I think I was saying it wrong.
Yeah, she had it all wrong. And then I started saying it wrong.
Yeah.
But
amazing people. You guys know the packs. They're amazing people
Yeah.
and an amazing location to go check out. So go help them get, because Fort Duffield, like they are just getting that going and trying to uncover all the amazing things out there. And you get to hang out with Denise and Ernie.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
They've taken me on virtual drive-throughs. It's freaking just the woods. I don't know. There's just
That's
something about it.
nice. She just put on there, anybody wants to book, contact us.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Ernie, send me. You got me on Facebook. Send me all your information.
Yeah.
I will also drop it and link it down below so people can refer back to this, because you know what, that's what we're here for, to promote each other.
Wow.
And
Do we get a special discount?
your Susan discount.
Oh,
Yeah. We actually purchased the last open spot, so I'm excited to get down there and investigate that. I know.
I have a lot of roots in Kentucky. That's where my mom's parents were from and all that, and that's where they're buried. So when I go to that area, I actually rode by there because I wanted to see it. And the gate was all closed. I'm like, I couldn't. This was a couple of years ago, and I'm like, oh man, I got to see the outside of it though. Outside the gate, I was like, pulled through there, looked around and drove around, and I got to see it from the outside. But I was like, I wanted it. I didn't know if I could just pull in and go inside and talk to somebody in an office. I wasn't sure what.
Listen, You don't want to run into Denise Pack if she's in a mood. I got a live stream of what happens. They ran into some guy that was kind of giving them some grief, and Denise.
So that's like me running with my flashlight. Don't.
Denise was ready to get out of the truck. It was great. It was one of my favorite moments talking to those two. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for letting us yap at you.
I think it's really nice to meet more really strong women in the paranormal. It's, I think there are so many that I think everybody needs to know, like our group needs to know more. Get Hunted needs to be introduced to them. I know, Emmy, they're getting to know you because you do come, and she always says, hey, there's my 2 favorite paranormal nerds. That's what she always says. So they're getting to know, but Patty, please make yourself known to Get Hunted on the network. They would love you. Because you're just an amazing soul. I think that it's great to have good, strong, feminine energy mixed in there. Rob needs more women in his life.
That's right.
That's what I need.
We need more women in there. That's right. We rule.
Now there was more questions I wanted to ask.
Oh, I wasn't signing off. I was just saying.
I don't want you guys to leave. I still want to ask more questions.
I wasn't signing off. I was feeling grateful for a minute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So what's the most amazing thing you caught on camera? Like, tell us something really amazing.
That face picture?
That wasn't me that captured that, so I won't claim that one. Damn.
Like your best catch, something that you just...
Thank you, Ernie.
Like it was just an amazing catch. I know that it's hard to get an amazing catch. Unless you're, of course, a fake paranormal investigator that fake. You'll catch all kinds of stuff every 5 minutes. So
I don't know how well you'll be able to see that.
Nice.
Yeah, shadow person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. No,
I don't like it.
Wow.
Look how long its arm. I don't understand.
Oh my God.
But his arms are out, and I could only see that on the phone. Look, Rob runs. Rob gets scared.
Nuh-uh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really?
I Scooby-Dooed my ass straight out of that phone. My feet were going. Yeah, that one scared me. That was here in Pennsylvania.
Huh.
That's probably. I still don't understand it. There was a piece of equipment on the floor that was reacting. That's why I got the camera and snap, and there that was for. Yeah, it was creep show. So I was out. Adam the cult member. Yeah, it's sticking out like it's like doing a fancy dance.
Yeah.
You got Ron Yakoviti on the side.
I can see Sarah now. Sarah's like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm gonna go in.
He definitely. He goes one way. I usually go towards.
I do too. Yeah.
Yep.
I do too.
I think it's a woman thing.
At the time, Emmy started screaming because she saw a face in the window, and she screams and backs all the way up into the wall and turns around and runs towards me, and I run over there because I want to see it too. And then I screamed.
Well, it pissed me off.
I was like, there is a face here.
I was mad, but happy. Yeah.
Her safety things to think about, right? Sarah will run off alone, like in that part. Look. She's clumsy too. She could fall and get hurt.
Why are you sharing that on this show with 280 people?
Listen, they're gonna learn. No, I do worry, right? I do worry, and she's not. She's a little too brave sometimes. Perfect example, right? Can I tell the?
Yeah, you tell it. Go ahead.
I was like, go ahead. You can tell.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
Somehow I was allowed to live stream from the Warren Occult Museum last year. Was that, Sarah?
Yes.
Whenever it was.
The where?
The museum, the Warren Occult Museum.
Oh, you got to go there?
Yeah, last year.
Jealous. Oh my God.
It was cool, right? So, inside of there, it's pretty creep show. I'll admit, again, I don't know how much was psychological, but there were some weird things happening. The shadow doll for me is the one that just creeps me out. Sarah's got this ridiculous fascination with it. So we do this event with them. Good night, Damien. we do this event with Nesper just last month, and there's the shadow doll. There it is in the room with us. Now, let's back it up for 1 second. I got a really good picture of it when I was there doing my thing at the museum. I sent it to Sarah. I don't know if that's when your fascination with this doll started, but when she opened it, the front door of her house opened, right?
When you sent the picture, and I was sitting in the dining room, my front door opened, which I don't know why at that point.
Yeah, your audio is really low all of a sudden. Just like
Yeah, it dropped down low.
her AirPods die a lot too. Just saying.
No.
So now here we are at the hotel. Nesper showed up. They're bringing the artifacts in. They're getting them set up, and there's the shadow doll. And the shadow doll, according to what they're telling us, is known to knock power out in the museum. Something for like 5 miles around, something like that, right? Sarah walks up to the doll, and she kind of.
No, okay. First of all, let's be honest about it. They're in
challenged.
this case. They were in this case, and I walked up to the case, and he was like shadowing me. And I went like this because I didn't have my glasses on and I couldn't see her. It's a him. I couldn't see him very well. So I wanted to see, he's got like feathers and an animal tooth in his mouth and he's very detailed.
God.
So I didn't like post up with it. I wasn't like,
I like how she gets all up and close into her camera.
But I'm on the side, and don't make it sound like I was stalking. I was making sure you didn't do anything stupid. So I'm on the side, and she's like face to face with this thing. And what happens? Poof, power goes out.
Oh.
Power goes out on the next thing, and I'm like, and she's not even noticing. And I'm like, hey, Sarah. I'm like, Sarah, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, don't piss that thing off. So yeah, it freaked me out a little bit.
it did. freak you out.
But, yeah, I didn't like that. So but that's what she does. So then I'm like, that's why I yell at her for running away. I'm like, you don't go off by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, going off by yourself, I know. And it's not the smartest thing at some of these locations. No. And some locations that we have been at, they're not so locked down, right? That somebody living could be there. They're sometimes squatters or, you don't know who's there. So for everybody's safety on the side, it's not the smartest thing when you are with a group to be wandering off by yourself. And I have learned, have I not? I've done much better.
Yeah, she's gotten better.
I haven't.
Yeah. So I can't do it. Because then I got to find her, right? And if she's hurt, I got to get her out of there. It's just
if I'm hurt, you'll hear me screaming. Or if there's a spider, like ghost all day long. If a spider shows itself, I'm out. Yeah. I'm done.
You come ninja really fast.
I'm here. I'm getting my stuff ready for a big investigation this coming up weekend. Actually, Rebecca's going to be with me. Amanda, my friend Chris. I know.
Jasper.
I can't.
I didn't say nothing.
Okay, yeah. Don't say
calling my cat.
Let's see. Hold on.
Wait, Nike girl, where are you?
I have my bug spray that's in my bag. I'm bringing my bug spray because yeah.
Nike girl's from Michigan, I think. That's where I'm at.
Yes. Oh, that's where you're at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
What part of Michigan?
Metro Detroit area.
Okay, I've been to Lansing before. My ex-husband was from Lansing, Michigan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. That's why he's my ex-husband, right? But my granddaughter wants to move to Michigan. She just has a friend that lives there, and she said that she wants to move up here because of the weather.
I'm very girl.
What's that?
I am Nike girls from Clinton. I'm not that far from her.
Hey, Greg, welcome.
Hey, Greg. Why do I know that name?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I do know that name. I feel like maybe he's coming to Atlanta.
I don't know.
I can't think of the shows right now because I'm like focused on you guys. He does. Oh my God, Greg, drop in there what you do. Oh God, Greg is the boss man.
Has a podcast. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ernie, which
Yeah.
podcast? I know this name.
Well, I do the double Estes on When Spirits Connect with him on Wednesday nights.
Mhm.
He also does led to the oh God, you guys, I'm
Warren
like
Legacy
Paranormal
maybe?
Inc. Paranormal Inc. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
it
he
Yeah,
is.
I've heard of that.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Now,
There you go.
so do you guys have a Facebook page and a YouTube? What's your social media? Well, you're gonna put the links in here, right, Emmy? So I can go and.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have their links in
Okay.
So
down below and stuff.
Okay.
yeah, we have the main Get Haunted page, right? That's some kind of the business side. Then there's what we have the Get Haunted Network public page. That's where the community kind of gathers. It's kind of like the bar, right? That's where everybody gets together to chat and talk.
Cheers.
Okay.
Then Sarah has Paranormally Blonde on
Mhm.
YouTube, and we also have the Get Haunted Network on YouTube, and then Insta and all that other shit. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah, we're on TikTok. We're on, just look for Get Hunt. Look, this is the one complaint we do get. People say they cannot open their Facebook without seeing something get haunted. We have amazing people in the network. If I put outside of Courtney, who does amazing things, you know, if we put out a post on an event or anything, people run with it, and it just
Mhm.
blows up the Facebook page. And people are like, "Oh my God!" Like, we
Yeah.
cannot.
Good.
Yeah,
Look,
It's-
right now, I'm gonna see if I'm already following you guys.
Nike girl,
Sarah-
you tell me. I know, you tell me, Nike girl, because this is why I'm just going to tell you, you need to come to a Get Haunted event. In fact, where you should go, Nike girl, is April 27th. You should come and meet us down at Indiana State Sanatorium, because we got that beast of a location. It's got like 15 buildings, and it's going to be an
That's
incredible time. And it's our first time for Get Haunted, but around Michigan, I'm going to keep it super real. Like, I'm telling you, I had that one hell of a time looking for places or getting people to work with me here. And
Right.
since I've met Rob, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, the list of locations now that I've been to have been just off the chain, because we just go to some of the best places. And unfortunately, they're just not here in Michigan. So come to ISS.
yeah, come to ISS and Spitfire. Yeah, jump on the network. You will find someone. We have people all over the country that are also looking to link up with people.
That's
It's
cool.
it's cool.
Okay,
It's
I'm
cool.
linking
You're
up
like,
right now.
It's not a
Now, see,
dating
like-
site.
Mhm.
I'm like a solo person, but I'll go and collab with other people, and it makes it easy for if there's other
Okay,
solo
good.
people out there, you know, to collab with and to meet up with, and that way you don't have to go
Oh,
by yourself for anything.
it's the truth. And yeah, Adam brings up a good point. Here's what's happening in October 26th, and the PAX will be there, and
The SQs.
the Askews, and Josh Purvis had announced he's coming, even though he kind of let the cat out of the bag early. But we're holding it. Look, 2024 is going to be, it's a wackadoodle year already, right? We wanted to do
Yeah.
something where it's like, you know what? Let's have a party. Let's all hang out. So we're having a Halloween party alongside Ghosted Magazine. We teamed up. Patty Negri's flying in. She's doing a midnight seance, and we're just going to party.
Nice.
It's not an investigation.
No.
You can be friend, you can be foe. You're still allowed to come. New Jersey, Battleship, New Jersey, which is badass in itself and haunted. We have live entertainment. You name it. Well, it's a night to come together and not
Mhm.
put all the bullshit aside and come
Mhm.
hang, come get to meet everybody. Yes, and because Ernie Pack is coming, I'm sure that it's
Yeah.
going to be.
If you're gonna be there, you guys bring biscuits for Ernie.
Oh,
Bring biscuit.
I remember him saying that about a year ago we were on a podcast together. I remember him saying something about biscuits.
Yep. Yeah.
Gotta have.
yeah, and we are firing the 5-inch guns off towards Philadelphia, which is makes it even
Are you
better.
really?
Oh yeah, we
cool
get to
is
fire the
that?
5-inch guns. Kind of, we're gonna kick the party off. It's gonna be a crazy night with live entertainment, the whole 9 yards. So, Ghosted
That sounds
Magazine's
so fun.
turning 1. We're turning 3. So, and it's kind of right near my birthday, so it's all gonna be one big ass Halloween party with the paranormal community, for the paranormal community. And by the way, you don't even have to be
Oh my gosh, it's paranormal, horror movie
Horror.
lovers, Halloween lovers, or just simply party lovers. This is like, think like,
Curiosity level.
I thought like April Bissett said it the best, right? It's like this spooky, sexy. It's kind of got like American Horror Story vibes. It's very or Cirque du Soleil. It's very cool. It's very sexy. It's very fun, and you can wear a costume. No full masks, but you can wear a costume.
Right.
But it's just to get together and remember that the living part of this is important too. Like let's just chill with the competition shit and let's just hang out. Let's just hang out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it
So
should be.
that's gonna be badass.
Yeah.
We're excited for that.
What I
At
like
least-
when I meet up other people, when I collab with them, I actually learn other
Yeah.
techniques, and then I will try to incorporate into what I'm doing. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but that's the best way because we're constantly learning every single day. Nobody's an expert in the paranormal.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
And
Amen. It's when you stay teachable. I think, you know, and I don't know how long you guys have been in the paranormal, but right, there's that little bit of the peaks and valleys. And I think that when you first start out, you sort of have a little bit of an arrogance to what you're doing. But what I've learned really is what I did even 15 years ago, what I realized today after all this time and being 52, I don't know shit. And that's what keeps this journey so much more interesting, because if you already figured it out, that's not even like so I always feel like in the spirit realm, when you think you've got that little formula, they switch it up on you. But I think that's supposed to be, right? So after all this time, so it's fun when we do the events, because even somebody new has such a fresh perspective, and they say something and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a perfect question to ask an EVP, right? We get used to saying the same thing over and over. So totally learning every time.
Even our methodologies, and even at our events, right? We try to have, if we break it up into rotations, one of them is pretty equipment based, right? One of them will be a bit more spiritual, and then one will be a hybrid, right? For me, like I used to use a lot of equipment. I still have a shit ton of equipment. But I'm so now about the experience, right? And you know what? Here's the truth. I never learned anything from a K2 meter. I never learned anything from a REM pod. I'm just there to try to experience, and I get bigger experiences without the equipment now. They become a distraction. I don't know what happened.
I have to laugh because everybody was calling Patty the paranormal queen, but I was the queen of gadgets.
Yeah.
I have so many gadgets.
He is. Oh my gosh. She had a suitcase so big just for her gadgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still bring them. People love them, and they do. They serve a purpose.
They do.
But for me, they've kind of become a little bit of a distraction, right? So if you investigate with me, it's usually EVPs. Like I love my EVPs.
I do too. That's my favorite.
EVPs all day long. And then the senses. Like I love just sitting in a room and letting it happen.
I do too. But I've noticed though, when you're filming, like for my channel, when I'm filming my channel, I can't do that long because people get bored. You're
right. Absolutely.
So a lot of it, if I do sit in a room sometimes real quiet for a while, and I film myself, but I just won't put it all in the video because people are this is kind of boring. Nothing's
visually. I think that equipment is so, but when I think like when we do events, when we're working with groups, when you're watching, especially if they're watching somebody that's leading the group, to be able to ask somebody, what are you feeling? What is coming to your mind? Are you having a thought that doesn't belong to you? Those things to get people to start being self-aware is probably to me, one of the coolest things to witness, because I think they don't they don't have that confidence yet to speak up. But then when they realize, like, because they might have something that matches up to what the equipment is picking up. So even if Rob, is doing his EVPs, if somebody answers a question and then all of a sudden you get a response on an EVP, it's like, see, you are connecting. Like, you've got it. It's a really cool thing. Yeah.
It's true. Very true. Yes. Wow. So
Percival has a lot of equipment too. He actually made me my brain just broke, a portal too. And
that
yeah.
is nice.
So-
You know what I want to try to find? I don't know if any of you know where I can get one, but I want one of those boxes that you connect to your spirit box. You know what I mean? Like I guess it's like a portal box that you would actually hook to your PSB7 spirit box to make it have more of a echoey, more of a filtered sound. I want to get my hands on something like that.
This one was made for me.
Ooh, what you got? Ooh, shit, toys.
Yeah, like
I know, right?
Oh, hell, I don't know which way to look. Is that what those are?
same concept. You got
Yeah,
the
I got
pedals on the
smaller
side.
ones. I just got
So
a
what do
big
you
one.
got? Okay, so tell me about yours, Emmy. I didn't even know you had that. What do you do?
Parasolo made this for me, and that's what you're talking about with the
Yes.
yes.
Who made
Yes.
it?
Parasolo.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And how much is something like that?
It depends on what you want.
Okay.
$250,000.
So do you connect your PSB7 to it then?
I haven't yet because he's got to teach me how to use.
Okay. And now what about what you have, Rob?
Yeah,
Rob?
so
Yeah.
same exact concept. Look, it's really a speaker. I have the
See.
guitar
Okay.
pedals over
Hold it
there.
up.
They
I
go
want
on
to
the
look at
side.
it. Okay.
It's basically a speaker, right? And you have your
Okay.
guitar pedals, and you have
Oh my God.
filters and
Yeah.
noise gates. Same concept. I was making these for Sarah, and
Yeah. And
So
what
does-
happened?
So it breaks down that
Yeah.
static sound, like the static. People
Yeah.
complain all the time about the static from the
White noise.
PSB7. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it
I
cuts
like
that down.
I love white noise. To me,
I do
and
too. I love it.
if you
It doesn't
talk
bother
to-
me whatsoever.
Yeah, Ron from Staticom, right? That is what I think, where I think the
Mhm.
voices truly come from.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
The FM piece, it's in the white noise.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Well, I want to get something like that. So tell Parasolar, or where did you get yours from? Who did you get yours from, Rob?
I piece them together off of
Okay,
eBay
gotcha.
when I have a free day, which hasn't
Gotcha.
happened in probably about a
Yeah,
year.
that's far too. Yeah.
Well,
What is-
my friend James had sent me one a while back, a couple of years back, but I'm having issues with it, and we could never get a hold of the guy that
Yeah.
he got it from. He wanted to surprise me with this thing, and it's a great thing, and I've used it a couple times, but it just won't stay running long. Like
It's weird.
Malfunction with it. Yeah, it's a malfunction, and the guy that he got it from just never responded back to any of us. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, if you don't watch Ron and Lourdes on Entity Voices Paranormal, like that Staticom, it is intriguing, and you should talk to them if you haven't. We had them on Paranormally Blonde, and oh my God, like that conversation and what they are doing with Staticom is crazy cool, and it's the next level with EVPs. They're just two incredible people. You will not regret talking to Ron and Lourdes.
I'll get those links from you later in the connect them all down in here and stuff. That would
Staticom's a closed loop system, right? So the FM's gone. It's pure white noise.
Oh,
Voices
okay.
come out of here. It's freaking ridiculous, right?
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's
that
really,
is so awesome.
Wow. So there's no potential for it being, even if you sweep magically across 10 radio stations and forms a sentence, this is pure white noise.
Gotcha.
And they're wicked smart people. Wicked. Like they are wicked smart.
They're wicked smart.
Wicked. That's a like a East Coast thing. Wicked.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recall saying wicked ever.
I'm going to copy this and I can't copy. No, I
And
can.
what,
No, I
what
can't.
is that there? What
Oh,
is
coffee sounds so good. Gosh.
That's
Um,
their
that?
website.
Hi, Karen Vickers. How you doing, girl? Yeah,
I
I've been
type that
drinking
over
coffee.
here.
That's what I've been drinking tonight. I love my coffee.
So, Sarah, what's your go-to equipment then? Since we're on the equipment, what do you really like?
You know, so I kind of go, I'm like you. I mean, like, believe me, I have all my toys, plus there's some over at Rob's place, but I have all my toys here as well.
That sounded horribly wrong. I'm sorry.
I knew your mind was going to go there.
Oh,
I keep them all over the place. I keep them all over the place.
She keeps her toys all around her.
But you know, and I love the concept of all the equipment. I really do.
Sorry,
And I change. My go-to does change, but right now I'm obsessed with music boxes. Like I'm such a sound girl. And I love, there's something about a music box to me. And I got one from Ghost Gear Technology from Rob Walsack. And the one that I have, the fan tune, is a radar one. So that one can go through walls, right? Like if you set it up, you have to be careful about who's in the next room, but it's so, I don't know what it is. And we actually, when we were at the Shanley this last month with Nesper on night number 2, we put a music box out in the hallway from the room we were in, and one of our guests had one. So we had one at one end of the hall and the other one on the other end of the hall. We closed the door in the room we were in, and we got those things to go off at the same time and turn off at the same. Wow. They were not the same piece of equipment. They were 2 totally different music boxes.
Wow.
So it is just one of my, because, you know, like you want to be able to set something up so when you're in one area, right? Mm-hmm. I like the noisy stuff. So if something does go off in another room, you can be like, okay, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my go-to.
Anyway, I like the REM pod a lot too. I like the REM pod. I'd like to get another one. That way, it'll have 2, like one that can use over here, one over here. You know.
Yeah, I sell some, right? But we laser engrave them. I can put anything you want on there. I can put your logos on there.
I wonder if you're the one that my daughter got hers from. My daughter got one that says Heather's Hauntings on it, and it works way better than mine. I mean, it's so touchy, and like we'll go to a place, and you know, I just love her REM pod.
Yeah.
I don't know if she got it from you or somebody else, but she ordered it from someone. She said it was another paranormal investigator.
Thank you, Beth, for dropping the link to make it clickable. I appreciate that. Thank you.
These are nice and small.
Look at that tiny thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hers is more. It's a purple. It's purple and it's round. Yeah. And it's almost the same size as the REM pod, but a little bit smaller. But
yeah.
You know, I really like her REM pod. I got to find out who she got it from. But they put her name on her channel.
Yeah, get them on there. It's the way to do it. I mean, it's crazy how detailed we can get. You know, with the laser engraving, it's just it never comes off. Cool. Right? It doesn't.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I was trying to see if I had anything that, because what I do love, you know, I have a REM pod. He actually put my photo on it. He laser engraved my photo. But it's cool. It is nice because, you know, especially when you're out investigating with a group, you know, everybody's K2 looks the same, right? So you're like, no, that's mine. No, that's mine. You know, or you put like a piece of tape on it or something. And now I have all my stuff beautifully engraved. So it's like, oh, that's mine. That's my picture. That belongs to me.
Yeah. I've got a permanent marker that I've been writing on stuff.
Yeah, I engraved mine. Just scratching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question I was going to ask, what are your thoughts on Ouija boards?
You know, I have them sitting here. I pick them up at garage sales, right? I have tried them. I'll be honest. I've had 0 luck to my knowledge with them.
Look at that. He's fallen for us already.
So yeah, to me, and we've just had this conversation. To me, a Ouija board is no different than any other piece of equipment that you're reaching out to the other side. So if we're talking about opening doors, well, my personal opinion is anything we do in the paranormal is opening a door possibly. So I don't really give the Ouija board for myself. I respect those that have a healthy respect for them. But I don't look at it any different than a pendulum, a K2, a REM pod, asking questions on an EVP. For me, it's another piece of equipment. I just can only sit there for so long, you know?
Yeah. I've had a
And you
bad
gotta do it
experience
when
as a
you're trapped,
teenager with
too,
one, so I
so.
think that's why I've always kind of stayed away from them.
Yeah.
Because we had it's a long story, but we had a bad experience. I threw it in the garbage. The next day it was right next to my bed. And I asked my mom, did you put that Ouija board next to my bed? She goes, no, I thought you threw it out.
Yeah.
It was just me and my mom were the only ones there that particular night. So it just always kind of scared me. And but you're right. What you said is exactly right. What, you know, it's just another form of communication, and you can, you know.
But I'm curious, Patty, you know, when we because the stories, it's kind of like when Rob talks about being front loaded about locations, you know, we do know so much is said about a Ouija board, their history alone, they've been around for so long, right? And so, you know, when we're teenagers, let's think about this, right? When we're teenagers and the scary movies and books and all the stuff that we take in, you know, I'm curious if this is just a theory, so don't everybody like come at me with this, but you know, is it the intention or the energy that we give it because of those beliefs that have been sort of planted, that now we're using this board that is supposed to be so much more evil than anything else that we use? Because when you look at what the actual history of a Ouija board is compared to what Hollywood says it is, those are two different worlds, right? Two different worlds. But intention is so important in paranormal, right? How we're coming at it. So it could be teenagers, all that angst, all the things that we are taking in, our fear, the unknown. And when we start playing with that, perhaps what we're attracting, because that's going to be the main thing you use as a teenager, right? Because that's what I hear most people say, Patty, is when I was a teenager, I had a bad experience. That's not an uncommon experience. So I'm wondering if taking in that, and that's the piece we're using, what we're calling in, it's unfortunate, right, that now the Ouija board just got a bad name.
Exactly.
Just a thought.
You're right. No, you've got a good point there. You're right. And just like kind of like this, okay? Hollywood gave it a bad name, and you know what that is?
What is that? I can't. Oh, yes, I see now.
Hollywood gave it a bad name.
Here you go, Patty.
This is called the Keys of Solomon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got it. It was a birthday gift from my friend Julie, but I don't know. I didn't know at the time much about the Keys of Solomon, but I've read about it, and it's supposed to be for protection and for good luck and things like that. So I mean, but Hollywood always gave that symbol a bad name. But I've been doing some research on it, and you know, I'm a researcher. I like to read into things and find out more about it. I don't want to just listen to what everybody else is saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say this: 4 days after I got this and started wearing it, I took a nasty fall and hurt myself really bad. So,
oh no,
my daughter thinks I should get rid of it. She's like, "How do you know that thing didn't curse you?"
Oh no, don't say that.
I did, and I put it away for a while, thinking, "Oh my God, I wonder if that's it." And I know that wouldn't have been her intention, you know, when she gave it to me.
Right.
Of course.
But you know, I don't know. I mean, it could have just been coincidence because I was hanging Christmas decorations and I fell backwards and hurt my leg.
I don't mean to laugh, but Patty's a klutz.
It was horrible. It was the worst thing. I was screaming and yelling for somebody. Nobody heard me for at least 5 minutes. And I'm crying and I'm screaming, and the cats are looking at me. I can't move. I almost hit my head. I hurt my back. I mean, it was horrible. I'm just laying there, all like twisted like a pretzel, you know. My leg was still stuck inside the couch. I was standing on the couch and I flipped backwards.
Okay, well, I think it was the couch, probably more than your necklace. That was the cause of that fall.
I've been in so much pain every day. I mean, the pain has gotten better. They have me on some things. They have me on meloxicam. That's what I took earlier. The meloxicam and the Lyrica I try to take together in the evening. Though one's a nerve for nerve pain, the other one's just an all-around, just really good non-narcotic pain medication.
Yeah.
And they work really well together.
That's why she can tolerate me.
Yeah, within 15 minutes I can move again. Yeah, it's like, yeah, because I start feeling it if I don't take it. And then throughout the day I just take like ibuprofen and shit like that. But yeah,
I was going to ask Rob the same question about Ouija boards, because men tend to be different.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we share the same beliefs, Sarah and I. Like, I don't use them. Don't get me wrong. Not because I'm afraid of them. Just they just don't interest me, and I almost never believe that it's not the other person doing it. You know. And then I also don't know. Maybe somehow subconsciously, I'm moving this friggin' thing. Right.
Well, wait, whoa, but that's. I mean, did you think the Platchette was moving on its own? Because I think the theory really is.
That was my old belief. Recently, I do believe, right? Just like I've come to the mindset that even with like dowsing rods and pendulums, that maybe it's not spirit moving them, maybe spirits influencing us.
Yeah.
Like the telepathy concept, right?
Yeah. Same thing maybe with table tipping and all that fun stuff. So,
or if you're anywhere near water, I've heard if you're anywhere near water and you're using dowsing rods, they're gonna turn towards the water. Is what I've heard.
So that part I can't explain. I don't know. Right. So I don't do it. And I love my coffee and my Coke, soda, Coke.
My coffee and my Sprite.
Right.
That's right.
So dowsing rods
girl.
my thing. I'm fascinated with them. I think they're cool. I love the designs. I collect them. Really old ones over there, but I don't use them. Most locations are like, no thanks. You know, but some are like, whip them out, get it done.
Yeah.
Whip them out.
What's your favorite?
Go ahead.
Device that you what would be your like number one go-to?
Yeah, so I've somehow pigeonholed myself, you know, over the years into doing EVP sessions. I get them. I'll admit it. I get some really kind of amazing EVPs. And the problem is, you know, if I show up at an event and it's just the crew working and I come in, they're like, do EVPs. And then that becomes the whole session is us doing EVPs. That for me, you know, when a REM pod goes off, that's cool, right? But there's a lot of things that can make a REM pod go off. When I hand somebody my recorder and they ask a question and they get an answer while they're holding it, it's my favorite thing in the world because it's really hard to dispute that in most cases if everyone's behaving properly during an EVP session, and that voice comes back. Oh man, there it is. There it is. So I love doing EVPs.
Me too. That's my favorite.
I was gonna say
ever.
Take the recorder everywhere.
Do any of you know anything? Shit.
Oh no.
About
it's broken now.
Did any of you know anything about this? I had ordered it from Ghost Stop about a year and a half ago.
That's the Rook. That's the Rook.
How does it work? Does it beep? Does it do anything? To me,
it's
broken. I don't know.
It will. Well, now it might be, but
you just tap it.
It's never beeped. It's never done anything. Is it supposed to beep?
Like a K2, and also, if I'm correct here, if I remember, I have one. Also vibration. So if you turn,
I have that. That's I have that now.
You stole that shit from me.
You gave it to me. I have that.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I just turned it on. So are these lights supposed to light up, or they are? They never have. They never have. It's never done nothing.
Tap it real quick. Oh, yeah, Patty, that shit is broken.
She just broke it. Yeah.
It's never worked. It's never worked. I bought it over a year ago. I can't probably send it back now. I mean,
Oh, you could
But
try.
But
It
somebody
doesn't
would
work.
probably buy it. I bought that. Was that Envoy?
Mhm.
I have it.
Yeah, I bought this from
It was
Ghost.
something I was like, this would be cool. And you know what? I've never taken it out anywhere, so it's like brand new. And
Yeah, I have. I have it. I haven't seen it work yet. Let's put it.
Oh, you
that
know
way.
what would be cool? We should do like we should get people involved in this. We should do like a cool equipment swap. Like
Ooh,
all that
that would be
the pieces that you like just had to have, but in the end you're like, I never touch it, or I've never used it, or I don't like it. And then everybody can just swap up, and
yeah, that would be cool.
Rob's like,
Anything. No, just not my recorders. That's and I'm going.
Yeah.
I got like
I'm
6
very
recorders.
protective over my stuff too. I don't let that shit out of my
yeah. Patty's like, that shit ain't flying.
Hey,
Sarah."
but
I bet it would be cool. And if you like it, be like, okay, you can keep it. I don't know.
Yeah, for me. What about you, Emmy? What's your go-to?
I'm a recorder in the SB7.
Okay.
Yeah,
Patty?
SB7 and REM Pod. I think are my
Right.
two favorites. I do like
Chris
the
is-
recorder too, but go
Chris
ahead.
is asking if you actually have changed the batteries in that. Like, are those from a year ago? Maybe.
All right.
Oh my God. I feel like such a blonde right now. I haven't. I mean, I bet that's what it is.
Try that first
Over a
before you.
year. I'm
Is it-
still, oh, God.
Is it 9-volt battery? Take it out
No.
and put it on your
Oh,
tongue.
hell no. I'm not doing that. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I love
Also-
that's a look at. There's a really great idea. Look at that. With the swap, maybe a round robin training session on different investigation equipment would be really cool. That would be actually a
That's great.
super cool event
That would
idea.
be.
Like we could do a Get Haunted event, bring your 3 best pieces of or equipment you've never used. I don't know. We can figure that piece out, and then we come in and we swap it out, and everybody learns from everybody.
Yeah. Oh no! Look at that! So
what is
fucking
that?
cool.
Oh my God, what is
Oh.
that?
It's a
Is it
REM
Scooby
pod.
Doo?
That's a REM pod?
Yeah.
Where
if
did
I
you
could
get
remember how to do
that?
it.
Cool.
Where'd you get? I gotta
Oh.
have it. Where'd you get it?
He made it.
You
That's
made
mine.
that?
Look at the lights in it. Oh,
Oh, I love it.
fuck yeah.
Oh
Get-
my God, that
There
is
you
so
go.
awesome. Did you make that?
No, I actually, but bought. No, I bought it, but I can make it. I have like
Yeah?
3 more sitting down there.
That's so
Oh
cool.
my God. I think that's
See,
the
sometimes
coolest
it's
thing
just a
I've ever
visual of a
seen.
toy.
Yes.
gotta have.
Oh my God, I gotta find a 9-volt battery.
Was
now.
that was my 2-year
That was your
Thanks
2
for-
years as the boss of the 2 years of stealing companies. That's all yours. That was your deal.
Oh geez, that light's
So-
bright. Damn.
And I got another question. I know that I don't like to know the history of a place I go to. Do you guys like to research it, or do you go and let the spirits tell you the history? And
I
then you
rather go
and
cold.
confirm?
I rather go, but I do love when we go in cold, especially at an event, which might not make some people happy at events, but there's always somebody that's a huge history lover, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. There's always a historian that comes on an event. So I love going in cold and then having them there to help validate things. So I think when you get those personalities together, it's a beautiful combination for sure.
What's it doing?
Yeah, we get shit for it though. We do, right? 'Cause some people love the history. I just
Yeah.
don't. So I let others do it.
Yeah, I like the spirits to tell me and stuff, because sometimes, what the spirits are saying,
Ooh,
it's not.
oh, no, it's going.
Oh, look at that. Oh, it's
Oh,
doing
you
something.
needed batteries. That's awesome.
I don't know how good this battery is. I'm gonna buy some new ones tomorrow. I need
There
Hey,
you
put
go.
it,
new
put
ones.
it on your
Put it on your
tongue, Patty.
tongue.
Just do it.
No, I'm scared to do that. Are you kidding me?
Just do it.
I'm gonna buy new ones tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna go on Amazon tonight and order them. I don't want to buy them anywhere. I'll order some really good Duracells or something because I need them for this weekend, for this
Yeah.
coming up next weekend.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that idea. But it's
There you
I
go.
didn't know how long you guys wanted to keep going. This is I'm having fun. I don't
There
know.
you go.
if you guys-
wow. Thank you. Whoever said that in the chat, thank you.
I
Yeah.
think it was Krista. Was it Krista? I think it might have been
I don't know. I mean, it didn't work back then though, even when I had a new battery in it, unless that's all it's supposed to do. It's just supposed to
Yeah.
light up.
That Facebook user, and I'm sorry because it just comes up Facebook user, so I'm not sure who you are. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it is interesting. I think going in cold. So I think it depends on what it is you're going for, and this is where I think sometimes we've seen this battle going on social media where they're, oh, you're not Arthur. Oh, you're not a real investigator, or you're not doing this right. For me, why I like to investigate now is for my own personal reasons. It's not as much. So I feel, but that shouldn't exclude me from going to historical locations because we don't really know what's showing up there. So if I've been to very historically incredibly haunted locations that people have had huge experiences with, and I've gotten absolutely nothing. So, I think that I'm a big believer in, if I'm at a location and I get something, it was meant for me to get and to understand and to experience, right? So I don't know if I think that it goes necessarily against investigating. I guess it depends what you're going for, right? I'm not always there to validate history. I'm there to experience the location.
Right.
Let them talk and
Yeah. And I'll add to that too, right? Because the truth is, could also work the other way around. If we go in front loader, let's take White Hill Mansion, which we do in New Jersey quite often. We're doing it tomorrow. Right? It's a Revolutionary War mansion, right? So we know the history now. We're going in. We know the big stories are about the Revolutionary War, even though the place was open until about the 1970s. Well, now we're going in front loaded, and anybody that goes upstairs and gets a voice on a recorder or gets a REM pod to go up, we're going to naturally try to take that paranormal experience and put it in that Revolutionary War box, because that's the big story.
that's cool.
So, how do we know it's not somebody from the 60s or the 70s? We don't. Everybody focuses on the history. So, in a way, knowing the history a little too well can also go against, in my opinion, the fundamentals of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to both sides. No, it's okay. Yeah. There's pros and cons to both sides. If you're there for a forensic type of investigation and you're trying to nail down something that's tied to that specific piece of history, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But again, like anything else, and like any of the big debates that are happening right now today in the paranormal community, ain't nobody got the right answer, or nobody's got the proof, right?
Yeah.
I also think, Rob, sometimes when we talk about, it's interesting. I've heard people say this theory, when you're working in a location, if you get, if you think you have children coming through, a negative spirit will pretend to be a child. Well, we can't just say that it's just like anything could pretend it's being something else. I mean, if something's getting attention and you're using the name Joe Blow because that Joe Blow is attached to that location, whatever energy is coming through could also just be like, hey, I need attention and I'll just go with it, right? We don't know really what's going on. We attach so much of the living aspect. I think sometimes we don't give the other side and that amazing consciousness that's connecting with us. We don't give it as much credit, I think, sometimes. I think we are so focused on the living aspect of what we know and what's been done in the history. I'm not suggesting history isn't important. It absolutely is. But I think what I don't want to see the community do is it's sad to me to see investigators or people curious or people out there exploring, whatever term you want to use, it just doesn't matter. Call yourself what you want. You owe that to no one. But I think to knock anybody out of the game for what they want to explore in, You know, I think if there's somebody doing those forensic investigations, I think that's amazing, and you're doing an amazing job. But if somebody's going in to understand what their mortality is, I think that's just as important. I think all these pieces fit together. And I think we can all be in the field respectfully together. I don't understand this whole, you have to be this and you have to call me that, and call yourself whatever the hell you want. I mean, I like the term experiencer, Rob. I love when you use that term. I think that's where I like to fit in as well now, because I don't owe it to anybody to say I'm an investigator, I'm a ghost hunter. Who cares what I call myself?
Exactly. And I don't know why so many people get so butthurt over it. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I've had people come at me and say, well, you're not hot. Did you go to school for it? Did you graduate? Well, there is no school for paranormal investigating.
It just comes naturally.
Crazy, some of the shit that people say. They, you know, from day one, I've heard a lot of things. Well, you're just a ghost hunter. You're not a paranormal investigator. Well, I investigate the paranormal, so I think that I'm a paranormal investigator. I mean, what difference does it make? Yeah.
Well, is ghost hunter is ghost? I guess I need to know, like, is ghost hunter now derogatory? Like, I don't know, like, what the and I mean that's like an honest, like, and again, I'm okay with calling somebody an investigator or researcher.
I have look it up in the paranormal rule book.
The paranormal Bible.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, no, ghost hunter is a bad word now.
Everybody investigates differently too. Everybody, like, I like to go to places and I like to be quiet because I want to try to hear things where a lot of people will just, not a lot, some people will walk around and constantly talk to the spirits. I get that, but you may be missing an EVP or something, or you know, something. And so I try to be more quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned a lot even working with Patty, because I would talk a lot, and then I was like, Patty's like, Emmy, you want to listen. And so I learned that from her too, because I thought continuing to talk to them was better. No.
Yeah,
going in with positive attitude.
Like, try to be real quiet. That way you can you can actually hear, you know, because you'll miss stuff. Like,
but don't you think, like, all the styles though, in the end, like, I think if we'd stop fighting each other, what we would probably find is somebody that likes to go in this way, somebody that likes to go in quiet, somebody that wants to just go in and be super curious, whatever your intention is, you know, going in with all the styles and coming back and comparing, sharing and comparing that evidence, we might actually come a little closer to some answers. But we're so busy, I think this is the Buddhism will come out in me, but I think we're so busy trying to prove the living aspect of it, like what I know, this is what I got and what I know. But how about, why don't we just be the student of what the afterlife is trying to teach us and what they're trying to, it's not like we're demanding them. We can't demand them to do anything. I think truly when you're called to do this, for some of us, when you're called to do this, you hear the call out to your soul of what you should be learning. And so I think if we could just share and compare, we might really understand the broader meaning of what paranormal is, instead of fighting about names and titles and who's real and who's not. Like, who gives a shit? I don't even care about the fakers. If you're faking it, good for you. Like, awesome. I don't care. It doesn't stop me from doing what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. You know, the whole thing, and everybody experiences differently, right? You two, you know, Patty and Emmy, you guys investigate a lot together, right? You've shared experiences, you've had simultaneous moments where something was going down, right? And was your perception any different between either of you? Like, did one of you experience that experience a little bit differently than the other?
I was breaking up, or something was happening there. I didn't hear. I cut out a little bit. Go ahead and say that again.
You've done a lot of investigating together, right?
Yes.
And you've had moments where something happened where you're both in the same room in the same area.
Yeah.
And was your perception of that any different in any of those cases? Like, did you see something and you hear something, or the other way around, or was your interpretation any different?
Like you both saw something, but you saw
Right.
it differently.
I believe so, but I'm trying to think of what it was. It had to have had. I think it has happened. Trying to think of when and where.
No, I
The
think
answer's
pretty
yes,
much.
right?
I was going to say, actually, Patty and I pretty much are in tune, and we actually hear the same things.
That's good.
We usually
And
do.
all of a sudden, we'll both like look right at,
Yeah.
a sound that I wasn't sure if I heard a sound, but as I'm turning, Patty's head's turning.
Yeah, that
we're like,
happens to us a
"Did you hear that?
lot.
Yeah.
Like at the we call it the shadow cemetery because we see shadows
Yeah.
there. But like the time you said there was a Bigfoot there. And at first I'd be like, how do you know this? And you said
Yeah.
because I smell it and I heard it, and you could hear like the different sounds. I didn't particularly hear that sound, but you did. So maybe that's kind of like what she's talking about. You
And,
heard
like,
the
the
sounds of what Bigfoot would make and the different signs of a Bigfoot around, but I didn't really notice it. But you did. So that's the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah.
We're usually in tune with each other.
Yeah, I guess my point there was, right, sometimes two people can be having something happen and just experience it so differently, right? And part of that is due to, how we kind of paranormal together and what's being shown to us by the universe.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So
like
Yeah,
he
the
might get
positivity,
cold and I won't
definitely.
get cold. Different things like that has happened to us where all of a sudden
Yeah.
Amy gets like I'm freezing cold. You don't feel that? And I'm like, no, I don't feel it. And
yeah,
then
that's a
vice
perfect
versa.
example.
Yeah, things
Yeah.
like that has happened to me with almost everybody I've filmed with at some point, where we'll experience something and the other one don't, and it's like, wow, okay, I get it, because it only happens sometimes to certain people in the room,
Oh yeah, look,
So how about,
go
I
ahead.
was going to say with you guys, do you notice when you investigate with other people, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So do you feel the chemistry when you two are investigating together is more and you get more, because you go in with the positive vibes and,
Yeah.
1,000%. It's that is one of the challenges with doing public events, right? Because you don't get to pick who shows up, and sometimes people show up, and look, the truth is, a lot of times it's the wives are into it, and the husband's there like this.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be there, right? So you have to find a way to kind of coax it out of him. There's just cool little tricks you can do there, but it's those groups, right, where there's one or two that are they just don't want to be there. That's when that session's slow. It's just how it works, right? So I try to do something to separate them from the group. I'll be like, hey, why don't you come down here? We'll put headphones on them, isolate them for a little while, let that other part of the group. But yeah, listen, chemistry, the vibe, all of that is a big part of it, huge part of, and it's why we try to have fun. I've noticed even laughter, right? Laughter can pump up the activity. Good jokes. There you go.
There you go.
I mean,
Sarah got
around when they're alive.
What's that?
Sarah got Spitfire, and Spitfire. Sarah's not saying that fakers are okay. That's not.
Oh no. That's I'm not. And I was watching Spitfire's his comments, and I think here we've had these conversations a lot of times too. Who are we more upset with, the fakers or the people who consume it? We can't change everybody's mind. Oh my God, danger's here. We can't change everybody's mind, but I think the reality is people want to see what they want to see, and it's just not for Rob and I, it's not our job to make people. This is what we offer. And if this is what you choose to do, so we might not get a lot of young people, because I do think the young people, let's be honest, I think the younger generation does kind of like the more entertainment side. They like those quicker, more, in your face things. But they will grow out of that if they want to continue the journey.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think I'll
tell you what, I have a problem with the fakers is because of the fact that they go out of their way to convince an audience, and it's mainly the young people, like you said, that what they're seeing is real. So now these people are looking at our channels. When they come to our channels, we don't have something happening every 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. We don't have things jumping out at and doors slamming and things flying across the room.
Yeah, no.
And then they're like, oh, your videos are so boring. I'm going back over there. You know, well, okay, go back over there and watch the fake stuff, you know, because we know as paranormal investigators, it don't really happen like that. You know, you don't just walk into a place and all of a sudden things are just flying around the room and, you know, doors are slamming and lights are flickering. I mean, that just don't happen all the time like that. It does happen, yes. And I've had it happen without any fakery. And I've witnessed it myself with my own eyes. So I know it does, but not all the time. Like some of these people the young generation, these young kids out there, this audience of these young kids, they all believe it. And that's where I have a problem.
But maybe it's not the debunking. Like I love the debunking part. Again, I do. I think there is a place for that. And I love actual debunkers who can give it's got to be a complete conversation, which I believe Spitfire does do. But I think and I just completely lost my thought on this.
Welcome to my world.
Oh my God, menopause, right? So I think, you know, what the problem though is really the fakers they're giving you this piece. They're giving you this, like the jump scares of what they think paranormal is. And I think when you really talk to an investigator, and especially for how we present it, it's understanding the complete experience in the paranormal. And it isn't a 15-minute video or a TikTok or, you know, and again, go out and do your thing. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but I think what it is, and it's what you said, Patty, you know, there are times that you're going to go and I have paid for investigations where you've sat all night and you've gotten zero, but you know what I did get out of it? It was good conversation. It was learning something. It was looking at a new location, a new area of the United States that we traveled to, and we learned some more history. There's so much more to it. And I do think that that's where the fakers are shortchanging those that are consuming it. They're not getting the entirety of what paranormal is.
Yep.
So we have Michael Castro from Ghosted Magazine off on the side. He likes to pick on my DR60. Yeah, that magazine. Our co-host for the Supernatural soiree in October. So thanks for stopping by, Mike. Yeah,
he makes me nervous.
Oh no! And can I get his link from you guys later too? And we'll drop it in here. Anybody's link? Give me and we will.
Ghostedmagazine.com. Mike,
I can't remember that. I can't remember what I ate 5 minutes ago. You're gonna take it out for me.
It is.
So get back to we'll end this here. We'll make it a 3-hour show.
I'm not complaining. I just had no idea. I was like, dang.
Well, you know,
I didn't either.
You're talking about stuff you love and thank you. You really lose track of time and you forget how long we've been in this call. But it's like I'm learning a lot of new stuff from you guys. We got other people learning from you guys. You know, it's just amazing when we come together on this. I'm like,
I've learned so much from your side. Your side is amazing. Everybody over there, like, I love everybody's contribution, and it's one thing it's about the conversation, and we're not, you know, this is where we need to really. We hope that Get Haunted is one of those places where people understand. There's Buddy Thayer. He's one of our new shows.
Hey, buddy.
Ghost and the Goat. The Ghost and the Goat. He's on.
It's funny because sometimes an investigation, right, especially on a quiet night, will end up turning into this, right, where we'll just all go sit in the parlor and talk. Like, what got this? What that, you know, we go and we look for the dead. But every now and then, well, let's share all of our secrets. Every now and then, right, we got to reconnect with the living. And that's why one of the things I love about public events most of the time is everybody that's there. We all share this passion and we all share this quest. So when we're together, right, we got to talk to each other and work together and be together.
That's what I like about when you go on an investigation with like 4 or 5 people, like what I'm doing next weekend. It's kind of nice because you're not getting anything. You're having a great time. We're all bringing food and snacks. And this. We can just hang out. I'm bringing my Keurig coffee maker. That way I have plenty of coffee.
Can't forget the coffee maker.
Yeah, they got a little fridge there, so we can put that. I'm getting one of them big sandwich trays from Publix. So we're gonna have like all this. We're going to make it like a picnic the whole weekend. Yeah. We're not even leaving this place. We're going to be right there inside this place, locked in.
Yeah, that's my kind of investigation. You got food, I'm there.
Yeah. We don't have to go nowhere if we don't want to. Everybody's going to, it's going to be a great time. And those are my kind too. I don't like to go somewhere where you're locked in all weekend and then you got to run here and we got to run.
That's the worst.
Like, I didn't want to go anywhere,
Yeah, I hear you.
Look, I just want to stay put, I just want to relax. I even put my pajamas on half the time. At night especially, I'm going to get comfortable. I got my bedroom slippers on, my pajamas. I'm there for the night. I just want to go sit and just wait for something to happen,
I'm sorry for Stacy.
We don't require it. No, we don't require it.
That's not Stacy. Stacy, we're with new people. Like Stacy's like, he's afraid you gotta leave. You gotta explain to him. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, talk about the cults. We didn't get about it.
Okay,
so why are you called? Right. Yes, you are a cult.
Here's what happened. Here's the cult story. We've been called culty.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Right, but recently, somebody went on a live stream, and here's the truth about what happened. Right, a location reached out for help on some forum on Facebook, and somebody within that forum said, "Hey, reach out to Rob at Get Haunted. They're great. They'll help you out."
Mm-hmm.
It's literally 8 miles down the road from me, so. Someone sent me that, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. So I go to get it, and it's a group. I go to see the post, and all of a sudden I'm like blocked and banned and whatever. And that comment's deleted. So I'm like, that's stupid, right? It's another team. So they wanted this location. So I'm like, okay, it's right here. So I went over there for lunch. I talked to them, and I said, and they'll tell you themselves. I said, look. A lot of people are going to reach out to you. They're in jeopardy of having the door shut down. So they're like, well, how much would you charge us to come in here and investigate? I'm like, nothing. We're not doing that. I'm like, better yet, let's turn it into a paranormal night where you guys make and keep all the money, and we'll do 2 little ghost hunts, whatever. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. So they're like, we love you. Thank you. So what we offered them was a way to help keep the doors open. What everybody else wanted was to come in and film a video and get out and see you later. Thanks for the time. So they got upset with that. And I did tell that location, explore all your opportunities. And like, no, we really like you. So like, okay, thanks. And that now I eat dinner there every now and then. But they got pissed off that they chose us instead of them. That's what happened. So they went on a live stream and called us a cult. Right?
Oh, man.
I think what they said was, has anybody had any run-ins with the cult Get Haunted? Like they wanted to
That's what they did. They were trying to jam us up. So I thought
you ran with it. You make a negative out of a positive.
We created the cult here.
Yeah.
Adam won't say what he had to. So we created the cult shirts, and your Kool-Aid is on the way, Emmy, along with some other little goodies that I threw in the bag for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just wanted the Kool-Aid. Did you sign the Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid.
Did you sign anything for me?
Sign it.
I wanted your guys' autograph. Yes.
Remember, she wanted you to autograph her Kool-Aid.
Oh no, that's in a different. Yeah, I did that, but that's in a different package.
Yeah, the package is on the way, right? The second one.
But you used Sarah's signature, so that I shipped it to her.
So
okay.
We got you. So that's how the cult was born. Right? So we created a little cult certificates, made the shirts, and the next day, it was insanity. Like as far as the UK, people are like, I need a shirt. Will you ship to the shirt? So we sold so many of these shirts. So thank you, haters, for making my car payment. A few months ago. Love that. So yes, feel
Our
free
biggest
to
fans.
yeah, that you know,
Biggest fans.
but it
And
created
we're certainly not making fun of any cult victims.
Right.
You know,
No.
there are serious situations, but I think the ridiculousness and what we see going on social media is, if you can look at Get Haunted, which is truly about the people. We created the space. Rob and I created the space. We keep it clean and tidy. It is everybody on the side that comes in and works in that network. It is all them. They put the hard work in. They do the collabs. They make, they offer their services. They are in there sharing, being the good in the community. They're the network. And so if people want to call that a cult because people found a space that they can be who they are, like that to me is such a slam on the community that we have. People can come and go. Our podcast program, we tell people, if you don't feel there's a value or benefit, you please, no judgment. We want you to succeed. And we know that you might have to go try a couple different networks before you land on the one that's right for you. We do not bash the shit out of you if you decide Get Haunted isn't for you. It's okay. You won't know until you try. Right. So everybody's got to get over this.
I know. I agree. There's a lot of hate spreading around this community. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We're like, oh yeah, we all know.
She's got a lot of good points. She really does. I mean, she's got a lot of good points.
And I think how we've been jaded, they've been jaded, it actually brings us closer together because we can understand, we can relate, and we can actually work together on things, and not let these haters win or let these people try to step over the smaller people, I want to say, because we're not really, I'm not a big channel.
It can happen and I think this is what, Emmy, I think when we started talking to you and you shared your story, and now to hear Patty's story before the show, I think what the biggest takeaway to me is, because who was I before I joined Get Haunted? The reality is, everybody on the side, it could be you next. This is not reserved. The hate and the things that people do, if it's not you now, it could be you later. And I don't mean that to sound scary, other than this is what happens when you put yourself out there. And I have been saying, those that can do and those that can't or won't, just sit and criticize. So you can either work hard at your craft, and that is what Rob and I have chosen to do every day for the last 2.5 years. We work hard at this. And if something doesn't work, we try to evolve and try something new. We don't have time to sit here for hate campaigns and destroy people's lives. So if you want to do what we're doing, then get off your asses and do it and stop criticizing. Or how about this? Go do your own thing, because we'll leave you alone. We'll respect your space, respect ours.
That's right.
Exactly. We're out of high school. We're out of junior high. I mean, come on, people.
Say it louder. Say it louder for the people in the back can hear you.
Hello, people. Listen, we're not in high school anymore. Come on.
Listen up, bitches.
And I think that's why like-minded people actually do tend to stick together more, because we understand, and we're not going to sit there and call each other names and, but don't do shady shit out there, people. That's all I got to say. Just don't do shady shit. That pisses me off.
And karma comes back to get you too when you do.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Screw the haters. Yeah. What else I want to ask you guys? We'll finish it up in like 6 minutes. But definitely, you guys, if I asked you guys to be on the show again, would you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love for you guys. I mean, we can go on. It's just, I love hearing other people's stories. Your story earlier, Rob, was so touching. And thank you so much for sharing that, and I could see in your face it was hard. There's still a lot of emotions there. but your story is going to help somebody else, and maybe with you sharing your story out there like this, it's going to help you heal, and then you'll be able to open up.
Yeah, I used to not be able to even tell it without crying, right? And
Yes.
hopefully Mike's not watching. He makes fun of me if I get
No way, Mike.
Mike Castro is like the badass, but no, I used to
only real men cry. Okay,
I know, right? That's what I try.
That's what I'm saying.
But, I can get through it now. I got a little busted up there. It gets easier every time we talk about it. That just comes with time. Time, healing takes time. It truly does.
You get a lot of heartstrings up there.
Yeah, it's okay to cry. I just can't do it all the time.
It is.
I have a whole image to keep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
He's laughing at you.
Shut up, Mike. Mike's one of it. So, just Mike's such a good guy. Really, really good person. Amazing interviewer too. So him and April started Ghosted magazine.
I'm going to have him on my show too. We'll be serious, I promise.
Yeah, make him cry.
I wish I had started in the very beginning. So a lot of my people that came from my podcast channel, my Facebook, kind of they missed the first 10 minutes or so of it, or however long it was. We were, you know what I mean? Before you said you can stream it, because I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people out there, if you're listening, if you felt like you missed it, you did miss something, but you can watch it on Emmy's channel. Like the first 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was, you can always go over on their channel and watch it. But I didn't really know. Now I know. You learn something every day.
Every day.
The best way to share each other out. My brain just broke. Help me out here. Networking.
Yeah. I was going to say I could have them on my podcast, but I pretty much am right now. So
we'll have you on ours. We'll have you guys come on Paranormally Blonde. I would love for everybody to have time, and we will talk about your stories. And it's a beautiful collab. We're so excited to expand our circle. So thank you guys so much for giving us.
And I will cry again when I hear your story. So Castro's uninvited to that one.
You're uninvited.
We're blocked.
It was funny how they were talking last Wednesday. I was like, oh, I need you guys on my show. I can't remember what it was. Rob made me laugh, and
well, I was talking about I was talking about filling holes, and I swear it's right after that. Emmy's like, "Are you guys free Friday?" It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
And then I have to try to maintain myself over here and keep the show professional.
That's right.
That's what we'll do, and we'll get Castro over here one day, and we're gonna make him cry. We're gonna make him cry, and so I can sit next to him and watch him cry. Yeah, no, you guys are so awesome. Seriously, thank you so much for having us on. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, we'll meet in the basement. But Sarah, what would you advise? What kind of advice would you give somebody who's just starting out into the paranormal and wanting to get into this?
Yeah, if you're curious or you're starting out, like, take that first step, trust yourself. There's a reason why you're curious. And I believe, do not squelch that. Like, if you're feeling it, I think go out there. You don't need a lot of equipment. And to be honest with you, I know we were talking a lot about some of the negative side of this. There are so many amazing people in the paranormal community, so many people that are willing to open up and talk, have the conversations. Sometimes that's all you need to do is start a conversation to find those other people that are just like you, that are curious or wanting to start out. So I think it should start with a talk. Just start talking, be open, make it normal, make paranormal normal. It's normal. It's part of being human. And, I think forget about the scary part of it. Think about the connections. It's universe. It's us. Yeah. So go out and explore yourself.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. And but watch your circle. Watch who you bring in. Be very careful with people. But at the same time, I agree with everything you said. But just from my experience, just be careful. Just be careful of the people. Be careful. Just be guarded.
There's actually a question right there for. Just an idea about a documentary film for Rob and Sarah's business and friendship journey. we can produce it.
You know, it's, I actually started one a while back that kind of died off. Yeah, I think it does need to be
I was gonna say maybe
documented.
that wasn't the time, and
Yeah, it wasn't, and I think that time's soon. It's the story in itself. Then, like, if I showed you guys the numbers are insane. When we show this at the lecture, people are like, no, the numbers
Wow.
are the numbers. It's weird. I didn't start keeping track of it until, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, not that, maybe 4 months in. It just, then all of a sudden I'm starting to see the correlations because I was putting all the dates together, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. This is really. And then with the day I finally got Sarah to admit that she helped, because she don't really want to talk about it. She has imposter syndrome. We did the show and ended it, and it landed on 2 hours and 22 minutes exactly.
wow.
We didn't put
wow.
in that shit, none of that. It just was there. So the twos were there again. It's hilarious.
You have to go with the numbers.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You just gotta follow them. So
it's true. A lot of times I'll be editing a video and I'll see it right around the 111 mark, and I'm like, I gotta stop right here. 111. I gotta make this right here. 1 hour and 11 minutes.
I was going to ask you, Rob, the same question. What kind of advice would you give to somebody that's upcoming, new, curious?
Again, it's everything y'all said, right? Go with where your heart takes you. Find yourself a best friend to do it with, and don't let anybody ever tell you that you're wrong, or that you can't do it, or that you shouldn't do it.
I agree.
There are people that will discourage it, and they don't want to see you move in a different direction. So just follow your instincts. What was that? With some comedy. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I clicked that too fast. Yeah. And I think that's what makes good shows too, is, you're just not serious. And that's how you draw on the people. I mean, this show went all kinds of directions, but I know we made people laugh out there. We made people cry, and I think that's what makes a good mesh. I guess that's the word I always use, a mesh. You guys know what I mean.
You gave them a human experience. It was the whole human experience.
I'll add this last piece, right? Listen to every story. Don't run with one-sided stories. Never do it.
Don't.
Good or bad.
If you didn't hear it from the horse's mouth, don't listen to the ass that said it.
There you go. That's a shirt. There's a shirt.
Right, there's a shirt.
Yep. I need to design a shirt like that, because it's true. You didn't hear it from the horse's mouth, don't listen to the ass that says it.
Always 3 sides to every story.
Always.
His, hers, and what you decipher between both. And
exactly.
And just fun, and then your vibe will attract, and when that's the other thing we're saying, your vibe will attract your tribe. It will happen.
It will. One time there was something I was going to tell you real quick. There was this, forgot where I was, but I got to talking to this lady, and it just kind of blew my mind, because we were talking to, I don't even know where I was. Anyway, when I said, she asked me what do I do, and I said, I'm a paranormal investigator. She goes, what's that? I said, paranormal investigator. She goes, what's a paranormal investigator? I said, like a ghost hunter. Oh, why would you want to do something like that? And I'm like, I gotta go now. Bye. It was nice talking to you. I'm like, I'm not even going to have this conversation. No, I did. I ended up having to walk away from this person. I don't even know where. I think it was at a salon, or I don't know, somewhere. But I just thought that was weird. What is that? What is that? The first person that ever said that to me, I'm like, what do you mean? What is that? You've never heard?
You live under a rock?
Like, you've never heard of a paranormal? What? You don't know what paranormal is? No, I don't. What is it? I'm like, oh my God.
Asses only speak in wispy whispers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we already asked. You guys will come back.
Yes.
You guys want to come back tomorrow? No, I'm joking.
We'll be back up for breakfast. We'll be back for breakfast.
Yeah, there we go. Well,
Oh,
ooh,
tea.
breakfast in the paranormal community.
Oh no.
There we go. And
You know,
I'm going to have you link. Go ahead, Patty.
I was going to say one more thing real quick. Something else I thought of that I thought was kind of crazy that you guys will too. And I'm not going to say this person's name. It's a psychic medium. He's pretty popular out there. Okay. When I saw this medium, he's really good, but he looks at me after we got to talking and I was signing this book and he asked me, what did I do? And I told him and he said, he looked at me and he goes, you need to be careful what you tap into. And I said, I could say the same thing to you.
Yeah.
He did not like that at all. He looked at me and gave me this look and he just kind of looked away to sign the next person's book. And I'm like, you didn't like that, did you? But it's true. You're going to tell me, be careful what you tap into, but what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Seriously, you know?
Exactly.
It's just like, wow, you know, look what you're doing. You be careful what you tap into. Anyway, I just thought that was something I wanted to share with all of you.
No, I love it.
I'm a little crazy.
Yeah, see, we learn new things of us.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys backstage who it is. I like the guy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I
They're
do.
like,
I
oh.
got a great reading from this person. I traveled a little ways to go to and we got picked from an audience, but it was amazing. I'll tell you all about it. A lot of people are probably going to guess it because they saw the video because my daughter filmed it, but it was pretty incredible. But for him to say that to me, I was like, oh, I could say the same thing to you. He wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
He was
Hey,
not
I'm the
expecting me to say that.
You guys think I'm psychotic? I'm not psychotic. You psychotic? I was talking to herself. But I do want to thank you guys. I think Patty's going to be probably now my co-host. My husband kind of left me on all this, and
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And also, Patty, I brought her because I was made general manager of Paralinks, and I brought Patty on board with me, and she's going to do whatever she wants to do. And you know how we were talking about like people who aren't doing the paranormal. Victor Santiago, I asked him to be aboard with us, and he's going to be doing promotions.
Awesome.
And Bad to the Bone is going to be in my marketing. So those are the people I felt are going to.
They're good at that.
The team.
Angelina is badass at marketing. She really is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my dog! Get off the camera. No.
He's cute.
So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great meeting you guys.
We can still
really nice
talk
meeting you.
forever. That's the cool thing. But we'll have to have a part 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll do it. We'll do a slumber party one night.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Get everybody on. We'll stay up all night. Tell stories.
You know, we can have somebody call in. Call in and talk to one of us, and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, we could come. We could do late night things out because I think, honestly, from what everybody was saying and people, we had a chemistry here.
Yeah.
And considering Patty just met them, and I think that's pretty cool.
I love it. Total
meeting of the minds. But you know, we could do like a like he said, like a little slumber party thing. And what we could do is we could one at a time invite somebody up to share a ghost story with us and then kick them out, you know, because people will try to stay. I've done it before. I'm just saying, I don't mean to sound mean, guys, but I've done that years ago. I did this kind of stuff, and people don't want to leave. Now they're there, and it's like, okay, you got to go now. I got the next one, and then they just, you know, so it's like you give them like 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes, and then that way you're not there all night with this, you know, hearing all this crazy. So I just think let's do it. We'll invite them up and just let them know right up front. You got 5 minutes, and we'll put a little timer there. 5 minutes. Okay, your 5 minutes is up. Bye. But let them share a story. You know, it doesn't take people can share a story in 5 minutes.
We can keep talking. Look, Patty just goes and goes. I would go and go.
I'm full of ideas. Okay,
you guys have YouTube channels. I do. Here, let me. I think you can see it over here. Let me put mine in. Here and then Patty, type yours. Oh, you can't. I have to type it in. YouTube.com/
What are we doing?
There's my channel. Yeah, you
Oh.
can type yours in there. It
Oh.
should come across.
Yeah. Hello. Let's see. It'll go to that's
It's
my
that-
podcast channel, my G Team channel.
Well, they can't click on it on the Facebook side.
Oh, okay. What's the
Let me go get
Yeah,
her
can you do
channel.
it? Okay.
Holy, yeah.
Yeah, that's
We
my
know about the elderly, right? I didn't say that out loud, did I?
Shut up. Shut up, Abby. All right.
Wow.
Rude. Okay, here we go.
Gonna
And here's
hobble off with my
Patty's.
cane in a minute. No, just
And a
kidding.
lot of you people, I know you came over. Let me get haunteds out there too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on over. We're trying to grow, so especially paranormally blonde. Sarah's worked hard.
Oh, I'll get hers out there too. I don't even think I'm following her.
We got it. She just needs to get a little bit more.
Yeah. We're getting there. It's been 3 years. I'm just at 700 after 3 years. But it's all good because everybody that comes over, they're amazing supporters. And that's the important part.
I'd rather have
a while ago too. I subscribed to your YouTube and I followed you on your Facebook channels.
Thank you. Thank you.
Paranormally blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paranormally. I'd rather have the quality of people and not the quantity.
Yeah.
I'd rather have, 2 amazing best friends than, 5,000 people that are fake. My dog is under my feet again. And she turns my chair. And yours has to be, right? Oh, I'm not following you. Oh, snap. There you go. I'm the 707. Ooh, 707.
Ooh, look at that. I got a few more.
There we go. And now I'm going to drop this in here too. And so, yeah, you guys definitely follow everybody over here. Find, how everybody investigates differently. Their shows are amazing too. They're pretty funny. Oops, stupid phone to me. That's okay, Karen. And I gotta catch your show, I guess, because I wasn't following you, Sarah.
It's all good. No, it's good. We'll have you on. We're going to reciprocate it because I think everybody needs to get to know everybody. So
yeah,
absolutely, we will have you guys on, and we will continue the conversation.
Yes, definitely.
yes.
Sounds like a plan.
It does.
Awesome.
And I don't have an outro, so I'm just going to hang up on everybody. But the cool thing I like about you guys, because this thing I say is everybody have a great night and peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.